This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code SOCRATES at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenro radio playlist. zenroclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Pornian Bakery. If you're located in the Pornian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Pornian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone can podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, so last week I was like drinking the Alpha Brain before the podcast, and I was saying like during it, oh man, I'm feeling like it's harder for me to concentrate. Like, sorry, the marketing is that if you drink this Alpha Brain, you're gonna be able to like dial in. You're gonna have the best combos ever. Like Joe Rogan drinks it before his podcast, right? And I was like, maybe let's try it out. And then I was having a hard time like focusing because I was like too wired. And then I was like telling Tara, like I read in the back, it's like not FDA reviewed or whatever. And then Tara was saying like, no, they all have to say that. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's like the B12 amount. And then because it says like 2,000 of your daily dose. And then she's like, what's the microgram? I'm like 500. And she's like, oh, that's like nothing. So I was like, why was it agitated? She's like, because you're the placebo king. So like if I just take something, I'm like, oh, I feel better instantaneously, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take this on the podcast and we're going to see if my focus deteriorates or actually just gets better. So last time I actually had like heart I didn't tell you this, but I was telling Tara, I was having heart palpitations. I was like, I was like, oh dude, why am I so amped right now? But yeah, let's see. You say something about your new amazing Mac as I drink this. You love your Mac Mini?
Yeah, it's really cool. I was surprised. I didn't expect a speaker to be encased in that small Mac Mini. I was surprised by that.
Oh, what do you mean? Like it plays audio?
Yeah.
From the Mac Mini?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Sounds pretty good.
Is it good though? Oh, yeah. Really? Eh?
Yeah, I was surprised. I did not expect it.
How big is it? Like a tiny box or like?
Yeah, like think of
bigger.
Like I don't know if you've seen like an Apple TV box.
Yeah, it's like that.
It's like that, just a little bit higher. Yeah.
And the audio is good.
Yeah, I was surprised how the audio was that good.
That's
small
impressive.
Thing like that.
Honestly, Macs are like the best like product, even though people like constantly attack them. And like I saw this thing, I was like Mark Zuckerberg. I don't think they've had like a great like advancement in a while, right? But you're like, no, but the Mac in itself is like basically perfection. Like who doesn't use a Mac for like creative professional things, you know, and ease of use. Like most people use iPads and stuff. Like I get it's expensive, but like the integration. You're saying that your old iPad is like used as a screen or something. Like
it even recognized the input of a very old iPad. I would say as you can use it as a second screen or like an extended screen.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy that it actually picked it up like from before. You know, it's like this is an old iPad. It's not because yours is like one of the first ones, right? Or did you give that to your parents and you bought a new one?
No. I still have that same big size. The first.
Oh, okay.
First, big size iPad, that 12-inch or whatever it was.
Yeah, it's wild, bro. Actually, we were saying this too, that I was trying to switch the mic just now, and it like I clicked on my phone by accident, and it like kind of froze my computer. But it's crazy that you can use your phone as like a mic now. You're like, this integration is like so much needed.
Even like the webcam and stuff, I think you can use your phone.
Oh, really? Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. You showed me a video of that when it was first coming out. Like the M3. That's why I was stoked about the M1 chips and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were showing like you can use
somehow it was working or doing the desk view. Like even though it had the camera, but also had a view.
Oh, downwards. Oh, you used it?
No, I haven't used it.
Oh, the video you showed me.
Yeah. That they were showing off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's gonna be honestly, we are headed towards a crazy future. Is there any like tech that you saw from like the? Because we didn't really go over it, but like the CES stuff, anything that's like coming down the pipeline, they're like, oh, it's pretty sick.
I mean, there were some interesting things. Not all of these things are like for the public, but there was like now that rollable screens and things like that. So there's even like
Oh yeah, yeah,
I saw what's this Lenovo that had a laptop that like it'd be like you can fold up and you have your normal 13-inch or whatever, but it can also
yeah,
like
yeah.
it'll extend out the screen, so it's more
Oh
like
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like
I've seen stuff like that.
yeah. But this was the first one for like a consumer one.
Oh, okay, okay, cool. Yeah, man, like where like I'm just so curious to see like where we're headed tech wise, especially if we get rid of wires like what Apple's trying to do with these M chips.
Hmm.
It's like could we just have like I really feel, and this is like leading to other topics, but I really feel like we are on the precipice of a cyberpunk future. And I'm like, there was a moment there where I was like, I don't know if this is going to sway in the good or bad direction, but I truly believe that we are going to enter into like a utopia. Not right now, maybe like give it 15 years and it's going to be like whoa, like the advancement we had from early 2000s to now, like oh dude, it's a mega leap, but we didn't really feel it because it was like slow integrations. I feel like that's gonna be the same thing. We're gonna see like slowly things come out that we're like, oh, this is amazing, and then 15 years from now, we're gonna be like, oh, it's not even similar to how we were
Oh yeah,
prior,
yeah, 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 yeah.
right? Yeah, I really feel that's like gonna happen. Not just like in traditional tech wise, but like what I'm seeing through the UAP sphere. But like there's we're at like a weird tipping point right now, you
Hmm.
know, and I feel it. Yeah. Anything else about tech before I ask you some interesting questions?
Uh, no, no, no. I mean, I went to ROM yesterday, so it was interesting to see like the
Oh,
history stuff. Yeah.
wait a minute. That's so funny. All right, so I was at dinner last night for Tara's mom's birthday, and she said she was at the ROM too. And were you at the oh,
I
what's
didn't
that
go to
friggin'
the
exhibit?
Auschwitz one. No, I didn't go to the
That's what
Auschwitz
she
part.
went to.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Oh, interesting.
So I went to, I
Dude,
think it was Nature in color and then the normal exhibit.
okay, okay. And the ROM, that's like one of the best museums, right? I didn't know this. Like we're
Really?
so
Okay.
like yeah, but like you don't you don't think about it because we live in Toronto.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, this is like Toronto, whatever.
Right, right.
Honestly, Canada's the best country. Toronto's the best city. I haven't seen anything better. I've traveled quite a bit. You know what's actually so funny? Side tangent. So everyone's been traveling to Japan, right? So Arvel went, my
Hmm.
coworker went, my sister went. My sister's there right now.
Right.
I went back in the day. Maryville's gonna go in April, so everyone's like, "Oh, let's flock to Japan, right?" It's like it's cultural hub, right? And when I went, I was like, "That's not that great. Like, there's better tech places, right?" So my sister's never been to Japan. She goes and she's like, "It's okay." I'm like, "I told you, like it's overhyped, bro. Like
Mm.
if you go to Tokyo, you're like, it's okay,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's not like what we're expect. Like go to Singapore, bro. Go to like I haven't been to South Korea, but South Korea looks crazy. So like Hong Kong, Singapore, those places, like that's where the tech is. I feel. But when
Hmm.
I see like, because Japan's like very like old but trying to be new. It looks like a movie set. They were sending me photos. I'm like, oh, it looks like a movie set because it's so like clean and industrious, but
Hmm.
like old. It looks like an old movie set. You
Yeah,
know?
like again, most of their population is older. They're like if you think about it, like yeah, there's a lot of like the tap stuff or something, but in a
Yeah.
lot of shops, it's still cash.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Like
but like yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
that hasn't changed, right? Like that's what I was reading. Like if I'm going to Japan, you should bring some. Like you should have cash on you as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, like it's not like so they had the who was I talking to about this? Oh no, my tattoo artist. We were talking about Hong Kong and I was saying like how Apple Pay we all use it now. Cuz
Hmm.
she was talking about that what's that app that everyone has to use?
Over like WeChat or
In
something.
China, in China. Maybe
WeChat.
we
Oh,
WeChat.
Alipay.
It's like a Alipay, yeah. She's like, everyone has to use Alipay, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
even if you're like a side vendor using
Hmm.
Alipay, oh, it's crazy, right? So innovative. And like over here, it's like Apple Pay, you know? But Hong Kong, they've had the Octopus card forever, bro. Like when I
Hmm.
went back in, when I first went to like work there, I was like, what is this Octopus card? They're like, yeah, you just use it for everything. Like you can use it for transit, you can use it for like grocery stores. Some shops will take it, whatever, right? And I was like, how long have we had that? Like, we've had it for a long time. And I'm like, this is so innovative, you know?
Hmm.
So it's like, why are we all using cash? It makes no sense. Like I get like, sure, have a little on hand, which I never do, but like cash seems so like I could lose that or actually I have $10, right? $10 right here. But I've never even like taken it out of the front holder. Like I've never
Right.
brought it outside with me, you know?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Do you carry cash? You probably do.
No, I don't. I don't really carry cash. No.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah. It's
like
just like the cash thing is generally it's in that word of freedom where no one like you can just go pay somewhere but you don't know that you were there, right? Like if I'm using a card
true.
that's triggered to my name, right? So.
You're right. You're right. But like, you know what's crazy? Because I was like, oh, cash is like everyone accepts cash. Like that was my first thought.
Hmm.
Oh wow, I can already feel it. It's like, oh, I'm like getting this adrenaline rush again from like the alpha brain. So like everyone's like, oh yeah, like cash is accepted everywhere. But there are actually coffee shops that are like cashless. You know, like it'll say on the front like
Oh
we are
yeah, yeah,
cashless,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you're like, oh, man, all right. So you have to use like something digital. Like I really feel like they're phasing out cash. I don't know about this cryptocurrency thing. Like I feel like that was a bust, but a lot of people are like, oh, the
I don't think
international
I don't
currency
know. I don't know
company.
if it's going to be a bust. I think it'll still be around now. I feel like there's institutions
No,
now
no, no.
trying to.
Like yeah, no, for sure it'll be around, but it's not like everyone's like, oh, it's gonna take over
Oh, I don't know
like
about
regular.
that. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's too. It's not regulated enough to be trusted. That's the. There's too much black market stuff happening around it or
yeah.
within Bitcoin that the
That's how it started
valuations
too, though.
will. Sorry. Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's how
But
it
that's
started.
that. Right, right. But that's how it becomes. It's too volatile to be
Yeah.
trusted.
You know what's funny? I remember like this was when it's like must have been over like almost 10 years ago. I was listening to this podcast and maybe like 8 years ago, and they were talking about Bitcoin, and they're like, yeah, you could buy a car off of this website using Bitcoin, but it's like for every dollar you'd have to spend like 50,000 Bitcoin or something, right? But the
Hmm.
valuation of Bitcoin has increased so much now that you're like, dude, if I had 50,000 Bitcoin, like I'd be a millionaire right now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's so, but I agree with you. Like I don't think it's gonna take over like regular institutions. Maybe like it'll be integrated. I've seen this already. Like some credit cards will like integrate it with
Hmm.
their system, like Bitcoin, but it'll never take it over because and then people like say like case studies of Venezuela, right? They're like, oh, I think it was Venezuela. They're like, oh, they just got rid of their entire internal currency because it was so low, so they all like used Bitcoin. But it's like, yeah, because your currency's so low, so of course you're gonna shift to something that's like, like
Yeah. Right.
more acceptable,
Sure. Yeah.
But then
No,
everyone's like, oh, let's use
I don't think it's
Venezuela
just
data.
that. I think it's just trading powers. There was no trading powers within their own dollars, right? I don't know if it's in.
Bitcoin? Oh, yeah, Venezuela.
Well, yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like so low, so it's like nobody's gonna take Venezuelan money. So
Hmm.
of course you're gonna use Bitcoin money. It's similar to like USD. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
okay,
And I wonder if it's like I don't know if Venezuela has like sanctions or things like that. I don't know. Like they have again for the U.S. dollar and stuff like that, right? Against them.
oh, see, then there that
So
could
like
be another reason.
they're yeah they can only go with Bitcoin or I don't know if any other currencies are
Okay,
really being traded with.
how do you feel about this? Like your intuition, why? Like your trust factor. So like people like Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, they were so into like Bitcoin and like all
Hmm.
this stuff, right? Cryptocurrency. They're big pushers of it.
Sure.
And then you start to see them associated with Diddy. You start to see them like write these petition letters or like these character references for that dude on the 70 show who like raped that girl. Like he's actually a good guy. So you're like,
Oh yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if I trust you anymore. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
okay, are you swindling me with this Bitcoin right now? Like,
But they're getting paid by Bitcoin to sell it. First of all, right?
oh yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I think that happened to
That's true.
Tom Brady. I think it happened. Wasn't it
Oh
him
really?
as
Eh?
well? Yeah, or someone in the NFL.
Oh, it's like a scandal. They're like,
Yeah, it's just it was. They're getting paid to sell it, right?
yeah, yeah, totally, totally. There's this really smart jujitsu dude for us a hobby. Talked about him before. So
Mm.
like, I love his jujitsu, but he's also pitching crypto like it's like the next big thing. And I'm like, I don't trust your financial advice, but I love your jujitsu. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, yeah.
whenever somebody pitches like crypto to me, it kind of gives me the ick because I'm like, I don't know if you really know what you're talking about now.
Right, right. Well, I think that the actual thing is you should be talking to your own financial advisor about these things.
But that's what he said. He's like, he spoke to his financial advisor, so he's sharing the Bitcoin knowledge to other people.
Yeah, yeah, but
And
he's
they're
not a
like,
financial
oh,
advisor, right?
yeah,
You have to talk to your own financial advisor to understand your own like place with the money that
yeah,
you
yeah,
have
totally.
to understand if you should be going into these sort of things.
Yeah, facts are facts. Even like Warren, I think it was Warren Buffett who talked about like the best investor, and he talked about how like Bitcoin's a sham. But then people are
Hmm.
like, oh, but he bought Bitcoin. It's like, yeah, because you have extra money. What are you gonna like in case it's not a sham? You know what I mean? Like you want to hedge
Yeah,
your
yeah,
bets,
right.
but
Yeah, I
like,
mean that's what he's doing. He is hedging bets. That's the
yeah,
whole idea of what he's trying to do. He's not
yeah,
saying to
yeah,
tell. He's not telling people to buy Bitcoin. He's just saying.
yeah, totally, totally, totally. You know how this is like totally a different topic than I thought we were gonna go down, but okay. So you know that I'm pretty sure it was Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, his investing strategy, it's actually super conservative.
Hmm.
So all he says is just invest in companies that you think will be around for a while or
Hmm.
you think are safe. So he has like Coca-Cola and like all these other ones that you're like, oh, of course I would invest in these ones. But people are like, oh my God, you're like the best like stock trader ever. But he's not doing like volatile stocks.
No.
You know, he's like, a lot of people who like get rich quick, they're like, let's do volatile stocks. And volatile means like you get rich or you get poor really, really quick,
Hmm.
right? But he's not doing that. So it's like, why would we follow the people that are doing volatile stuff that are like, or if you really like following the example of Warren Buffett, why wouldn't you just pick the safer bet? You
And you
know,
don't
but
have
it's
to
like,
like it's not just. I don't think he's saying you have to invest in individual stocks like that too. There are like S&P 500. So
I have no
like
idea what that
that's
is.
like the biggest 500 companies. So they will
Oh,
switch out
okay.
companies if they're not doing well and take out the ones that are not doing well, add in the new one.
Oh, oh, dude, the S&P. Okay, I've heard of that before. All right, so now that makes way more sense. Um, that makes way more sense. Okay, so I posted that thing. I don't know if I sent it to you, but I'm pretty sure I did. Patrick Bet David said that the 80% of the S&P 500s are owned by one company, and I was like, I don't know what an S&P 500 is, but you're like selling it to me right now that like this is a crazy thing where it's like a monopoly on the market. But so S&P 500 is the top 500 companies that are making the most money.
In their stock portfolio, who they have are generally the 500 biggest companies.
So it'd be like Apple.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There'll be portions
And
of Apple, there'll be portions of Microsoft, probably a little
interesting.
bit of parts of Tesla or other things like that. Well, I think a lot of it you can see the breakdown of it. Probably most of it is
That makes sense. Yeah.
tech companies, if they're the top ones right now. So I know there was like other ones that they had removed. I had read stories. I don't remember the names of them, but they had like, oh, these are not doing well, so we're switching these out,
Mm.
like selling the shares of that and buying shares of this other company that's doing better. Yeah.
But like with that, so like we're talking about like the safe bet. The reason why people don't, so like we're like, oh, we all covet Warren Buffett, like, oh, he's the investing king, right? But then the reason why people go for the volatile stocks is because it's easier entryway. Because
Mm-hmm.
sure, you pick the safer bet, but Warren Buffett can spend like millions of dollars on stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I spend like it's probably gonna be like $500 per one share, and then one share is like 1% of like nothing.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like, of course I'm making no money back, and that's why people are like, I don't want to invest in safe ones because like I want a quick return. Like
Mm-hmm.
hungry for resources.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, those S&P 500s are generally safe. It's not like every year there's a positive, but they're generally over the time,
Yeah.
right?
It's more stable as compared to like the volatile ones that I was talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Like individual stocks in a company, you can do that if you believe in the company. It's up to you. These are your own
Right,
risks that you're
yeah.
willing to take.
But you know that like people who do that, they actually like all right, so investors, there's multiple ways to invest. But if you want to be like that game shark, like, oh,
Sure.
I'm like a real investor, you have to read their financial statements.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And if you don't understand the financial statements or like their business model, like these people, these investors are literally reading, or they've hired teams because
Mm-hmm.
they've hit a point where they can hire teams, but the team will like review the actual like trajectory of that company,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know? But like people aren't thinking like that. They're like, yeah, I'm just gonna invest, whatever, whatever. It's like, have you looked in the company, bro? Like, you might just be throwing your money away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right.
Yeah. The money game to me is like super weird. Because like I feel like you'd want a safe return,
Mm-hmm.
but like that requires you to not be like get rich quick. But a lot of people are like get rich quick.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
But that
That's
could
why
also
that's
be
why
like
Bitcoin
yeah.
is so big, right? Within that, because
Yes.
it became
Yeah,
so
because
big
quick
so
return.
quickly. Yeah, yeah.
Totally. We were watching traders yesterday, and this all goes back to like scarcity of money, like the stock market thing. Like why you make those bad decisions. And um actually, there's a quote that I heard and I turned it into a young Yoda. I haven't posted yet, but it's like, panic is the prey of. Oh my God, hold on, let me pull it up because I heard this. I was like, that's actually so accurate, bro. Um, it is logic is panic's prey. So if you
Mm-hmm.
start to panic, you're just gonna throw logic out the window, you know. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
right,
like
right, right.
everyone, right? And I feel like everyone is in a lot, like a panic state, you know,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you have like not enough money and like, oh, I gotta pay this, you know what I mean? Like you're in a fight or flight mode at all times, so it's like very difficult for you to make a logical decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a lot of input, you're like, oh, a lot of stress. Like, what am I do? You know, so I can't like fault those people that are making these like get rich quick schemes. Like you just want an out. But we were watching Trader yesterday, and Traders UK is cool because it's not celebrities, it's the regular people.
Yeah, I've been
Have
watching
I?
that one.
Have, oh my God, amazing,
The
dude! Have
UK
you
is the
seen?
better one.
It is the better one. Have you seen season two?
You're on
Then
isn't it like season 3 now?
yeah. But oh,
Yeah,
so
I
you're
mean I
caught
saw
up then.
season 2, but I don't remember.
Okay,
I'm
so
on season
we
3 already. Huh?
okay, so we're on season three too. So
Okay.
we stopped watching Traders after season two of UK.
Okay.
And we just got back into it because we're like, oh, it's been a while. Like we haven't seen it, and I love the show. Probably like my top show. Like we were trying to rank shows, and like usually I wouldn't put like reality TV at the top, but like this is probably my number one show. Anime is still number one, right? Because like you can rewatch it.
Sure.
But like in terms of stuff that you're gonna watch once, like there's like Severance and like Traders is one of them because it shows you like the human psychology in such a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
small thing. Because you're like, oh, there's like a mob mentality going on, right? So like in the second season, the guy played it so well. That's the one where he made the girl fall in love with him.
But
Do you
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that? And
A
then
little
she was
bit, yeah.
like, so at the end, she was like, I love you, like I love you,
Oh
and
yeah,
he
yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
you too. And then he brought his
Jeez.
two best friends to the end, and at the end, he was the traitor, and you're just like, dog, that's crazy. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
use love to switch up on these people, you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
know? That's why I love the show. It's like watching humans play out this interaction.
Yeah.
But
The
so
only thing is
yeah.
like I like it, and then at that point, like yeah, they find out he's a traitor, and then the show's done. I would like
Well, they have
a
podcasts
renewal.
after. No. Hey, I would love that
I
too.
would
I
love
would
a
love that too.
renewal or a
But
reunion or whatever. Yeah.
reunion. But they go on shows like I don't keep up that much, but like Tara will like tell me that they were on because there's like reality TV podcasts.
Yeah, 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 but I
But
don't have
like
time for
they
that.
were yeah, exactly. But they were on one together and they seemed cordial, but it was like hurt feelings were
Oh,
still
really?
there. It's
Yeah.
like she
Okay.
like loved him, you know. But
Mm.
okay, so going back to Trader season 3, the doctor, the Indian dude, no spoilers because I haven't hit that part yet. We're on episode 3, I think. The doctor, he was saying that the reason why he wanted the money is because all of a sudden money got tight for him and his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was thinking about this. It's like you have a set amount of income, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
like salaries, right? And you can live like pretty chill, you know. Like some days, me and Tara like, I can't believe we're living this life where we're just like watching this show and like, you know, like I'm not
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
worried about getting takeout. You know what I mean? But then when that doctor said that thing where he's like, me and my daughter, we just suddenly everything became tighter, and I was like, oh, of course they would. Like if I introduced like a baby into this mix, well, you just cut your income by like a third,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And you're just like, ooh, that is tighter. And it's like this scarcity that we are all living under is what's making us make bad decisions. Yeah, our
Mm-hmm.
life is not built in a way where we should look out for one another and like build communities and like forget about money. It's more about like putting people first, right? Because like if you look at like the hunter gatherer times, right? If you had a kid, it's like whatever, you have a kid, like it takes a village. So we're all like playing at the campfire. The men are like hunting. Yeah, maybe there's some women too. I don't know, but like they're hunting, and then you know there's an equal exchange. But now we have this society where it's like based off money and time for money, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like how do you even drop off your kid to school, like
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so tough. We were talking about like work from home, and I love my setup of work from home because it's like not that I have a kid, but it's like if I had a kid, you can bring them to school. Like people at work are like, oh, I'm just dropping off my kid. You're like, all right, cool, whatever. I'll see you
Mm-hmm.
on in like 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Like
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
can do that. Whereas like if you're in the office, like how do you drop off your kid? You automatically separated like
Mm-hmm.
that love bond between you and your child. Or like even like so much as like a dog, right? Like Athena. I was like when I was working in the office before getting this job, it was like I would see her like for 8 hours of the day. I wouldn't see her,
Mm-hmm.
but now I see her all the time. So it's like that's like even on those levels, it's like what are your relationships like if you can't see people?
Right.
You know, it's like it's so weird. Like why are we structured in this way? Like
Mm-hmm.
I find that very odd.
Sure.
And all of these are about to be answered, and that's why I like painting, chess piecing it all up. Okay, so do you believe in black holes?
Yeah. Yeah.
You believe in black holes, but like
Well,
why?
what I mean, what do you mean by? I don't know what the word is belief, but
Are
yeah, there's
are
evidence of
black holes
black
real?
holes.
Are black holes real?
Based on the evidence, yeah.
Okay, is the Earth round?
Based on the evidence, yeah.
Did World War II and the Nazi concentration camps happen?
Based on the evidence, yes.
But some people would say not based on the evidence,
Sure.
right? And some people would also say not based on the evidence for the world being flat. And some people would also say, well, the math doesn't actually work for the black hole.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like based on the evidence, right?
Yeah.
But whose evidence are you listening to? So in World War II,
Mm-hmm.
how many people knew that there were concentration camps before they stumbled upon them? They're like, oh, dude, there are concentration camps.
Yeah, it happened after or
It happened
during the
after,
war. Yeah.
right?
Sure.
Okay. UFOs are real, bro. Like, how
Mm-hmm.
can you tell me that they're not real? You sent me that documentary. I'm like, these are all the people. Like, every time I keep telling them, like, dude, I'm reading about this person. I'm like, oh, these people in government. You're like, oh, I don't know. Maybe they haven't seen it. But, like, all those people that they put in that documentary are all the people I read about, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, wow, they actually made a documentary, like, for these people. And then this dude came out. We talked about last week. Um, damn, I forgot his name.
Jake
Jacob
Barber, right, or
Jake
something?
Barber. Jake Barber.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So then this week they dropped
Mm.
the full interview and they dropped another interview with one of his like team members. Okay. And what Jake Barber said in his interview, his full length interview, and I was like, okay, that's what I'm going with now. He said, you're either gonna get it now or you're not. But we're gonna show you it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Like with our initiative. I'll get into that after, but did you watch the interview?
No, no, I haven't seen. I've seen the other one.
The first one with like
Yeah,
the
the
highlight
first one.
clips. So
Yeah.
like in that first one, there's like it's a teaser. They like kind of like tell you the full story, but they don't give you the full interview.
Mm-hmm.
So in this one, it's like it's just him and the host talking, right? And it's like 2 hours, and it just answered everything. I was like, it's undeniable. Like everything you said just lined up to everything I've been reading, and you also showed me the way forward, and I'm 100% on board with you. And it's like intuition. Like I just know you're correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So so with Jake Barber's story, it's like aliens are real and there are teams of people. All right, I'll get into that after. Let's just backtrack first because we can't really go further until you're like, I just need to hear where you're at because I'm like, okay, because then I'm not going to feed you this information because then it's like you're just going to discredit it. But like you either agree or you don't agree, and that's what he said. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Okay.
it. Like you can't show any more evidence than what is there. You have
Right.
photos, you have all these politicians. If you believe it's not real at this point, it's like there's no way you're going to change that person's mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'll just do what I'm going to do. And then you're going to be like, oh my God, it's real. Oh my God. And it's like,
Right.
that's the only way we can, like, we're just going to do it now. So, with everything you've seen, even with the documentary, do you still think it's not real?
Again,
Relative,
what are we saying? What is not real? Are we saying aliens are not real, or are we saying
the
crafts,
program, the
or like
program, the program, the
UAPs
program,
are not real?
the program. There are UAPs, there are there are UAPs, there are NHI, and there's a secret government program that's been running 80 years on a psyop campaign to make you think that's not real, but it's real.
Okay.
Those four
Now.
things.
Okay. Okay.
Though, tell me what you don't agree with.
Okay. Do I agree that there are
UAPs.
UAPs? Yeah, I agree about UAPs.
Okay. Do you believe in NHI?
What is an HI?
Non-human intelligence. Something that is so they took away the word alien because they're like, we don't know if it's from this
Sure.
planet, we don't know
Okay.
if it's from that planet. We're gonna call it NHI, non-human intelligence. Do you believe in NHI?
Uh, no, I need more evidence for that.
Okay, but everyone has already said that they're NHI in that documentary, and all those
Yeah.
people, they're like, we've seen NHI, we've seen the NHI craft, we're interacting with NHI. They've all said it. So you're
Sure.
gonna say that they're liars.
Did Stephen Greer say that what that egg thing was? They were. Jake is claiming it's
He
an
also said
NHI,
NHI. He also said it was
but
NHI though.
I thought Steve Greer said it's human made.
I don't know. I didn't watch. Where did you hear that?
A clip that he said.
Okay, I haven't. He put up a podcast. I'm in the middle of watching that one right now, so I don't know if that's maybe that's in there. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But also, which is kind of creepy, like my sister sent me this clip from. She sent all of us this clip from what's his name, the Forbidden Knowledge guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's fake. What he's saying, because Forbidden Knowledge is like now what they're doing is they're taking AI clips of him to make him say things that he didn't say. And
Mm-hmm.
I know it's fake because I'm like, that's counter to everything I've heard him say on a podcast already. So I knew that the information was fake. But it's like, whatever you saw, I didn't know what you saw. So it's like, I don't know if that's real or not. Like,
Sure.
did they AI create it? Like, did you see his mouth move? Like, was it a clip of him saying it? Or
I
was it like
think so.
audio
I can't
on top
remember
of
now.
imagery? Because if it's
I'll have to
audio on
look
top
at
of
it again.
imagery, yeah, okay. So the thing is this, like Stephen Greer has said that they're NHI, they're NHI crafts, and then they're ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So like the thing that Jake Barber's not read in on is, or like he's not presenting, but he admitted that they're real, is they're ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles. And that's what Stephen Greer said. He's like, most of what we see are alien reproduction vehicles.
Right.
However, there are some ones that are not alien reproduction.
I
So like
understand. Yeah.
maybe it is the egg. Maybe the egg is an ARV. Like, and
Right.
Jake didn't know that, you know?
Right.
So like, so there's that component to it. So do you believe that NHI are real?
That I wouldn't say. I don't know.
Even though everyone's saying it's real.
I don't know if everyone is saying it's real. It's these people that's saying it's real, right?
It's
So they have
into
to
Congress.
bring.
Pull up in Congress, bro. Pull it. They actually have paperwork. It's the
Yep,
Schumer amendment where it says we are interacting with NHI. So you're saying, and they put that into Congress. Like, okay, we're gonna let this go through. So why would they let that go through if they don't believe in NHI? You can pull up it's the Schumer amendment.
Sure,
That's
sure.
why everyone's like, oh my God, this is crazy. He actually like wrote NHI in the document, acknowledging that there's a non-human intelligence out there.
Right.
So that's in Congress. So why would you let that go if it's not real?
Okay, I want to see that.
You pull it up, Schumer amendment.
Sure.
You can pull it up right now. Schumer amendment, NHI. Okay. I don't know how to spell his name. SCHUMER. You haven't followed this so deep. That's why I'm like, this is the craziest thing to me. I'm like, it's so wild. And this is like the forefront of everything. Like, people are like, dude, why do you care so much? I'm like, this is the trajectory of our future, bro. If there are NHI and we're interacting with NHI, bro, what does it mean for the rest of our civilization in the future? It's like AI or something. Like, you can't take it back now. Genie's out of the bottle. Schumer amendment. Find it?
Yeah, 1 second.
And then there's 2 more. Secret government program, yes or no? Because they would have had to get these crafts from somewhere. And what they're saying is that these are donations from the NHI. Like, they just found them, and then they're reverse engineering them.
Okay,
go ahead.
Yeah, I need to read the whole thing to understand. There is something there in the Senate Democrats.
About NHI?
Yes, the word NHI is there, yeah.
But why would you put NHI there if it's not real? If they don't acknowledge that there's NHI interacting with...
No, I don't know if they're... Again, I have to read if they're saying that NHI is real, or are they saying we should look into NHIs?
Okay.
Are they two different things?
No, right? read the thing then. Read the thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I have to read to understand what they're saying. So this paragraph starts with, like, after UAP records collection is created, the legislation will create a UAP records review board an independent agency, which would consider if a UAP record would qualify for postponement of disclosure. Additionally, the federal government shall have eminent domain over any and all record technologies of unknown origin and biological evidence of non-human intelligence that may be controlled by private persons or entities in the interest of the public good. After the review board has made a formal determination concerning public disclosure or postponement, the president will have the sole ability to overturn or concur such determination. At the latest, each UAP record must be publicly disclosed in full and made available in the collection no later than 25 years after the law is enacted, unless the president certifies that continued postponement is necessary because of a direct harm or to national security. Okay, so we're either companies have NHI stuff, right? This is what the program is. Then I'm going to ask you if this is real after. So the program is that the government, and this all started with the nuclear bomb. So, and that's why I'm like, Nolan, you knew the whole time, bro. You've just been like feeding us the information and like making, that's what forced me to look into it. I'm like, why would you talk about the nuclear bomb, bro? And then I started reading about Kennedy's assassination and all that stuff. So, when we started testing the nuclear bomb, we realized we didn't know that there was EMP associated with the nuclear bomb, right? You shut off electricity. Sure.
Right? So that warped something in like the craft's ability to function, and it forced all of these crafts to come over and like look at what's going on. That's why you had like the flyover of the White House. You can like Google that. It's like all these UAPs were over the White House to the point that like they sent out like the National Guard or something. Like, what the hell's going on, right? So like when they started testing nuclear stuff, we saw an increase in UAP, like whatever, like UAP sightings or like
Sure.
interactions.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And what they think, what most people spec, we don't know what their hype, like they're thinking, right? We just know that they're there. But
Mhm.
what people suppose is that we are on the precipice of being able to travel like they're able to travel.
Mhm.
It's almost like, oh, you figured out combustion engine. So now they're like, oh, let's see where they're headed. And
Right.
if we go out into space like them, we could just be such a warring species because of the way we act. So like these NHI are trying to guide us in a way that's more like civil and loving towards one another in order to like adjust the trajectory of humankind before it enters galactically.
Mhm.
Because if we had their ability to travel, we would just mine for resources everywhere. Right? Like this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, this is America's now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like we need to hit a universal state of like understanding before we can go out. And this will make sense of why I'm saying this later. And again, it's like everything's making sense. So like that is the narrative that a lot of people have said. So what happened was when this nuclear bomb went off, they downed or they were gifted, not too sure which one, um, some crafts. And then what
Mhm.
do you do when you're gifted a craft that you have no idea about? You send it to aerospace. You're like, hey, Lockheed Martin, our biggest defense contractor, figure this out for us.
Mhm.
Because America outsources its like military contracts to like big organizations. So Lockheed Martin, General Electric, all these other companies got pieces of the craft, and through those pieces, they reverse engineered their own versions of those crafts. And those are what the ARVs are. The things that we see in the sky are mostly ARVs. Like the drones that are over New Jersey, ARVs. They're not
Mhm.
actually NHI craft. So, do you think that there is a program like that? Does that program seem realistic to you?
That they're using alien aircraft?
No, no, like what I just said. Like, nuclear bomb went off. It messed up one of the things, or it was donated. Not too sure. A craft, and then that craft is what people go to retrieve, and then they give it to these companies, and then they reverse engineer it.
So we're saying the craft is alien?
Yeah, NHI. Yeah, it's not ours.
Okay.
Non-human intelligence.
Right.
So, do you think that that's real? Do you think like we somehow figured out NHI? We found NHI craft. We
Sure.
took the craft. We delivered it to our
Okay.
best defense contractors. They worked on reverse engineering it.
Right.
Do you think that that's real?
You're now asking if I think the NHI is real.
No, no, no. That program is real. We've already
But then,
passed
but then
NHI.
it's connected to what I just read about the NHI, whatever
Yeah,
was in that
exactly,
report,
exactly.
right?
Totally, exactly, exactly.
So
Yeah.
I have to wait for that evidence, right?
Yeah, right. Okay, so do you think that that program's real? But no, I'm saying like
Again, if I don't,
if
if
whoa,
I
wait,
don't
no, no,
know
wait.
if the NHI is real,
Okay,
how
okay,
would I
okay,
agree
okay.
to that program? Correct?
Right. So do you think a program? Let's say you believe in NHI. Do you think a program like that is real? Could happen.
If NHI was real, we're
Yeah,
saying. So we're
yeah.
saying that. Okay, so if NHI is real, if that happened, then it's possible. Sure.
Now open up Immaculate Constellation, the
Okay.
document that they also approved onto the Congress thing, bro.
Right.
That is the program, bro. That is the reverse engineering. That literal document, you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this lighting is terrible. You'll see in that document that that is where it's called. The program is called Immaculate Constellation. They down NHI crafts and then they bring them to places in
Yeah.
order to reverse engineer it. And Jake Barber was one of the delivery people. And that's how he enters into the story. Bro, what are we doing out here?
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. So, what does the Immaculate Constellation say? It's 12 pages or 11 pages. Well, it's
Yeah,
12
yeah,
technically. There's a
it's 12
conspiracy
pages.
going
Yeah.
on. It's 12 pages, but the
Just
last
saying
page
in
is blank.
just saying in the introduction, this document is the result of a multi-year internal investigation into the subjects of UAP, TUO, which is Technologies of Unknown Origin, and Non-Human Intelligence, NHI. This investigation was undertaken in response to urgent and credible threats to the public good and safety of the United States of America, and provided to Congress through the UAP whistleblower mechanisms established by National Defense Authorization Act. The data consulted during this investigation and summarized in this report originate from non-public data held within the executive branch of the United States government. The author obtained access. Okay, this the introduction stuff.
Yeah. So basically, they just said NHI crafts. So, like you said, if there are no NHI and there's no NHI craft, no. If we're getting, how can you say there's NHI craft if you don't believe in NHI? Agreed. But how can you have a program associated with collecting NHI craft if there are no NHI?
Mm-hmm.
So didn't that just prove that NHI are real? Because how can you have a program of collecting NHI craft if NHI aren't real, but they just said that they're collecting NHI crafts?
So
NHI by default must be real.
Okay.
So in the sequence of events, the first one, the Schumer Amendment, came. Oh man, all these like fireworks.
Oh.
Yeah. The Schumer Amendment came out before this Immaculate Constellation. So that's why you were like, well, how do I know NHI are real? How do I know the program's real if NHI aren't real? But I'm like, but that's how they released the document. So first it was the Schumer Amendment.
Sure.
And then Immaculate Constellation just got released at this UAP hearing. So it actually proved the first point. So I agree with you. It's like, you can't say that NHI are real unless, how can you get NHI crafts if NHI aren't real? But they just said that they're collecting NHI crafts. Mm-hmm. So this is in Congress. So a crazy like backstory to this, and this is what I know is going on. Like, we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
Which is like patents. Okay. So the 12th page was actually a signature of Jeremy Corbell because he's the one who gave it over. So if you watched the TMZ documentary, Jeremy's pissed because he is the direct link to these whistleblowers. And what they said in Congress was Michael Schumer, the investigative reporter who was on the stand, gave them that document. But Jeremy Corbell's like, no, my name was on it. I'm the only one who had access to these documents. I gave them out. There's footage of him giving out the copied things. But why did they say Michael Schumer? The reason why is because now there's like a multi-dimensional chess game. They can't sway Jeremy Corbell, but they can sway Michael Schumer. And they want to figure out who these whistleblowers are. Mm-hmm. So by saying, oh, it's Michael Schumer, people are like, oh, I can go to Michael Schumer. But Michael Schumer is a plant. And that's what Jeremy Corbell is saying.
Who is Michael Schumer? I don't know.
He's a very famous investigator. He's not. It's not just about UAPs. He's just like, this is one of the topics.
I know. I heard his name. That's what I'm trying to think.
Yeah, he's a famous dude. Yeah.
What he actually looks like.
Oh, looks like?
Yeah.
Oh, he's that like skinny, tall, white dude.
Oh yeah. He's in that documentary. Is that the guy?
No. That is Tim Gadet or something. That's not him. That dude in the documentary is.
Sure. Okay. Oh, Michael Shermer.
Yeah, Schumer. Sorry, Schumer is the Schumer Amendment.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So like, I don't care about that game. Like, I already know that we're playing we're playing business wars, bro. Like, Jeremy, you're right. We are playing patent business wars, and that's something.
Oh, like the atheist guy? That's the Michael Shermer we're talking about?
I don't know. I haven't looked into him. All I know is about his UAP stuff.
Okay, never mind. Okay, maybe it's somebody else.
Okay, so now with those two documents, do you believe NHI now?
I don't know. I can't.
But they literally just said we're taking NHI crafts. So how can you take an NHI craft if NHI aren't real? They automatically like they prove one another. So like how can you say, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
If you're getting elephant poo, how can the elephant not be real? Bro, you're like, I need to get the poo from somewhere. So the elephant must be real if I'm getting elephant poo.
Right.
Right? So now you kind of have to admit that NHI are real. Like logical process. Like, you can't have an elephant poo without elephant.
Okay.
So you need to, right? You agree? So now you admit that NHI are real.
I don't know if they're real. These are programs that existed, but I don't know if is that
Oh
what it
my
says
God,
in the
that's
program though?
crazy, bro. That literally, you just read the Immaculate Constellation about them taking NHI craft and then reverse engineering it. That was the whole program.
No, I
Immaculate
didn't read the
Constellation. You
program.
read it. No, but
I
this
read
is
the
a document.
introduction, right? I have to, don't
But
shouldn't I read it then to understand
no,
what they're
no,
talking
no,
about?
no. If you read it, I've read it. When you read it, it just goes through all of the crafts. They're like, this craft is this craft is this. Like, it's such a crazy breakdown, bro. If you read
Hmm.
it, it's like it's telling you about the ARVs. They don't talk
Okay.
about the NHI. They're talking about ARVs because that's what the whole Immaculate Constellation is.
So
These
they're talking about ARVs, which is what we made.
alien, yeah, exactly. So this is the program.
So it's not talking about
Immaculate Constellation.
NHIs.
No, but where did you get the technology for NHI?
I
Because we don't
understand,
know
but
what
like,
NHI
why
are.
aren't they talking about NHI then?
Because nobody knows what it is. We don't know what NHI are, but we know that it's non-human that made this. It could be an octopus that made it. I don't know. We're
No,
just
no,
like,
no, no.
there's something
So
that made
my
this.
so wait. So what's talking about in the document are ARVs?
Yeah, ARVs. But that intro was about how they took NHI crafts to reverse
Mm.
engineer and create ARVs.
Okay.
So that's where the TR3B is in there, bro. It's crazy. Remember I told you like a TR3B patent? I'm like, just Google the TR3B. They literally talk about the TR3B in that thing, and somebody has a patent for it.
Hmm.
So when Jeremy Corbell's like, there's a business war going on, it's like, yes, there is, because people are trying to patent this to make money for the future in order to set themselves up. Because it's cat's out of the bag, bro. You have infinite energy. Yeah, you have 0 point.
Hmm.
We have infinite energy, and you've proven it because you've created the ARV. The
Right.
ARV is like using zero
Sure.
point energy, infinite free clean energy.
Hmm.
That's why in the documentary the guy's like, we're on the precipice of like infinite clean energy. I'm like, yeah, because that's 0 point,
Hmm.
right? But it's like we won't release that because we don't know how to patent it. And once you win the patent, go ahead, you could use it because you still have to pay the patent holder, and
Hmm.
that's what the fight is right now. It's like who owns the patent gets the derivatives, or like the checks, the royalty checks, basically, because everyone has to use it now, right? So so we know that there's a business war going on. By default, you have to admit that NHI are real now because like we don't know what they are. They could be octopus. They could be like a tiger. Like it could be anything. It's just non-human that's creating a craft that we are literally picking up. It's better than our technology, and we're
Hmm.
reverse engineering.
Right.
So that's the program. So now, do you think that that program is real? You just read the document. Do you think that document's real, or do you think people are lying if you put it
Uh,
into Congress?
sure. I don't know. You just said they were talking about ARVs though.
But yeah, that's what the program is. I'm saying the program is the program real. The program is alien reproduction vehicles, reverse engineering of NHI craft.
Okay.
Is that real?
Sure.
Because that's
Based
the
on if
program,
you're saying that's in the document, yeah, then okay. I agree with the document.
right? Exactly. Okay,
Okay.
so now we're on the same page. So now my final question is: has there been an 80-year cover up of this thing to psychologically make people think that this is not real,
Hmm.
order to like do things behind the scenes, even
Right.
though it's real?
Right.
Is that true? Damn, this light, it's bad.
Let's say.
You have to say yes because you just proved it to yourself. Because you were like, hey man, I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's blah blah blah. Because they want to
Mm-hmm.
see doubt. But I'm like, hey, it's document. Either we're gonna believe the science or we're not.
Right.
You put it on the record. And that's why the UAP community is so happy that these congressional hearings happen because they're like, we have it in Congress now.
Mm.
So it's
Sure.
like it's like mathematical science. Like again, going back to black holes. Do you believe in black holes? Well, I don't know the math, but I believe you know the math. So I'm going to trust that you know the math. So
Right.
it's like, hey, I don't know if this program's real, but you put it into Congress, meaning that a lot of intelligent people believe it's real.
Hmm.
So there must be something there.
Right.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you believe so you agree that there is a there. So like, what that means is like when people are like, is there something over there? Like,
Yeah.
there's something over there. There's a there, bro. There's like,
Right,
why
right.
would so many people pay attention to it, bro? That's what the UAP people call it. There's a there. It's like they're like, no, there's nothing over there. We're
Right,
like,
right, right.
then why are we all freaking paying attention to it, bro? You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. So Jake Barber, he he came out, and this is why it was so crazy. So he is living my dream, bro. He like I watched that interview. So he is a regular dude. He went into the army, whatever, and then he left the army, and he became. They call him the Knock. Like that's what Stephen Greer said. The Knock is non-official cover. What is that? A spy. It's friggin' Mission Impossible, bro. So this guy led an entirely different life. He got a business degree. He started up companies. He has a helicopter. He has a transportation business. That's what the public sees. Like, oh, transportation business. But on the weekends and like at odd hours, he actually runs missions for the government and corporate entities. And he said like 90% of my job for this secret thing, like he can't tell anyone, bro. He's a Knock. Like they're like, hey, where are you going this weekend? Oh, I'm just going to like, like Chicago. But then he's actually going to Syria to like frickin' protect these people. So like he has these things called HVTs, high value targets. Okay. So he will get a mission. He's so trained that he's like literally Mission Impossible, bro. They're like, here's our HVT. You have to go get it back. So his business, he calls it transportation and security.
Okay.
He's a transportation and security expert, bro. Which is like, you tell me what I need to get, I'll go get it for you. So he will literally fly into like Syria, all these different countries, and retrieve the thing. But the reason why they use these knocks is you have plausible deniability. So if he dies in the field, we don't know who that guy is. How friggin' sick is that? Like, this guy's like living a movie. Like, that's why he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And like, remember I was like, oh, he's like wearing face and shirt.
Right.
So you know what's crazy about this? He had to train himself because it was a non-official cover. He couldn't go through regular training. So he literally started training himself to become like such a high operator. He got like the best, like best marksmanship, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, all this stuff, aviation pilot and stuff, all in secret. Like all independent from the government because you need plausible deniability for these programs. And he was saying that like all countries do this. And the reason why the US relies on him is because you need that separation. Because if you're doing a crazy job that you should not be like doing, like you need these operators.
Right.
How freaking sick. All right, like let's just pause for a minute and like say, do you think that's cool or like
Yeah,
what,
that's
bro?
cool. Yeah.
That's freaking sick, right? This guy's like living a movie life. And he said the funniest part is like, so he already had his like ability to fly, right? Because he had to run these operations. But they're like, now we need you to publicly be able to like, we need to pay you publicly to transport this thing, but you don't have a commercial license. And he's like, okay, so what do I need to do? He's like, we need you to go get your commercial license. And he said the hardest part was pretending. Like pretending you don't know is easy, right? He's like, oh, so what is that? It's click. But he's like way better than all these people, right? And he said the hardest part of that whole thing was presenting a natural learning curve that they've seen before. So it's like you teach them something or you get it wrong a couple times.
Right,
Like,
right,
okay, I get it right. Okay, I get it wrong. And then he said like there was a couple times where he would do something just to like mess with his like instructor. We're like, how did you know you could do that? He's like, oh, lucky move.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but you know like what the things are, right? So I think that's super cool. And the reason why it was in 2018. Okay. So this sounds like a friggin' movie. It's so sick. So he has his team, like literally Mission Impossible or like Ocean's 11. You call together these like team members and you run missions. Okay.
Yeah.
So they had to retrieve their high value target was 4 laptops with incriminating evidence about like this UAP program. And what he said was this, and I was like, I totally agree with this. The military industrial complex is not bad. There are just some bad actors. Like we said, like we wouldn't have the internet without the freaking military industrial. We wouldn't have Tim Hortons. We wouldn't have roads. We wouldn't have. He's like the one thing I want to stress people on is don't think that the military industrial complex is bad just because of a few bad actors. he believes in the military industrial complex, right? He's like, we keep the peace, these knocks. Okay. So things went south in 2018 when he was contracted to do a job. Okay. And he had to retrieve 4 laptops. Okay. And in the pursuit of retrieving 4 laptops, do you remember Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where it's like you double booked? You remember the plot of Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Like they actually double booked both of the Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and then they were trying to kill each other. And then they're like, it's because, like, you know, like the higher ups were trying to like phase both of them out.
Right.
So when he was in pursuit of this, these 4 laptops, there was a double booking, and they tried to take him out.
Right.
And then he said, holy crap. He aborted the mission. He's like, let's get our team out. Allegedly, 2 people died. He said he can't comment on that. But he said that, are they trying to sever the hand that's hidden? Are they trying to cut him out because they needed plausible deniability? So they double booked, like, this team will actually kill that team, right? Even though like I hired you for that team. And then that's when he got out and he removed his entire team. He's like, I need to start from scratch. And then he started to like run it up the chain of command, like take meetings with people like his contractors. He didn't say which aerospace company it was that hired him for this job, but he went to them and he's like, hey, did you guys double book me? Like, what's going on? Whatever. And he said that a lot of them were scared when they found this out. And he was like, oh, something's going on. So his best analogy is this. He is the fingertips, right? He's doing the job. David Grush, David Grush is like the UAP task force person, right? Who's like overseeing everything. So David Grush is the shoulder. He's the fingertip. He said that somewhere in the elbow, it's compromised. So even though David Grush thinks something good's going on, someone at the elbow, someone at the middle management level is messing around and is like running operations that shouldn't be running. Like somebody, you know, like corruption.
Right,
There's corruption at the elbow. All right. So what he did instead was he's like, okay, cool. Remember I told you last week he had like that spiritual encounter where like the entity entered into him and he's like now divinely guided towards like telling the truth about all this stuff?
Yeah.
Right? So he partnered with he makes lots of money because he's like, it was a part of his knock. So him, a bunch of venture capitalists and people who really want to know in the Congress formed a team called Night Watch, and he is the leader of Night Watch, and that is how they're going to disclose it to the American people. Check it out. So he said psychics are real. Youth, which is kind of weird. I don't know why this is kind of weird. Youth are mostly the ones who are able to like psychically link with these crafts, and gay men for some reason, and women. Okay. So there's some feminine energy there that like is able to like attract these like crafts. Okay. And he said it's a loving sensation. So like they literally, they have a psyop. This is it sounds like a goddamn movie, but it sounds so badass to me. So they have a team of psychics that call the craft, and they will like photograph them. They'll interact with them. They won't down them, but that's what the other things were doing. They were using psychics to bring the thing, and then they would down that craft, and then they'd reverse engineer it. And his job, like before, was to like transport that. So now they're doing it for the positive, not the negative now. So now they're trying to disclose it using the exact same method that they were using in the private industry, but for public now. And that's why he's coming forward. And that's what we're going to see in 2025. That's why he's like, we don't even have to believe it. We're just going to do it. And you're going to be like, what the frig is this?
Exactly.
Dude, how crazy is this whole story?
It was crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy, bro. So it's crazy. So, you know what's like even more insane? So the interview Ross Coulthart, the guy that was there, so they kept this under wraps. So they've been doing these psychics are real. We know that Project Stargate, I told you, Joe McMoneagle, number one. But it's so funny, like last week as I was driving back from Filipino martial arts in your area, I was listening to the Joe McMoneagle podcast. before any of this. And I called Tara and I was like, I think I'm going to sign up for the Monroe Institute in the future. So that's where they teach you how to remote view. And it's just like, you just go there for like 5 days, you're going to learn it. That would be a crazy dream of mine. Just like, oh, and they say they have like a 99% success rate. Like everyone, because it's a latent thing that we all have. So like once they teach you, like everyone could do it. The reason why Joe McMoneagle is like number one, like his remote views are perfect. Like he won so many awards for, same with Jake Barber. So it's funny because he's a knock. He won all of these awards, but they're like, we can only email you this, but we can't present you the award because you're like a knock, right? So like what he started to do was like print off those things. He's like, I need some insurance so that people know that I worked with the government. So like, because those emails can be deleted, right? So you just like print them off. Anyways, so like I want to go to the Monroe Institute because like psychics are real, the CIA program's real. They had this Project Stargate, and at the Monroe Institute they teach you that. So what he said was they have these events, and they brought that interviewer Ross Coulthart to it, okay, where they would start off with like just explaining what these things are, and they'd bring out children who would demonstrate levitation psychically with their minds. You're like, bro, what are you talking about right now? I was listening to like, this is insane. And then they would, in the public, call the craft psychically, and then they would demonstrate like, hey, there's the craft, bro. And they'd interact with the craft. And then Ross Coulthart was like, he's like, we invited you, you came out, you saw it. And he's like, I invite anyone, obviously it's probably going to take some money, but he's like, I invite anyone to come out to these events and just see it for yourself because it's insane. And Ross Coulthart was like, it was a transformational experience because he was like, oh, this is real. Here's the kicker in the pants. This is like, kick you in the nuts, bro. It's like, ooh, there you go. Stephen Greer was right the whole time. His CE5 protocol is what they use. So Stephen Greer said, and I was listening to the news podcast, he had a near-death experience when he was young. And then this like NHI, like basically brought him to his craft. He thought it was just minutes, but it was like hours he was gone. And they taught him the CE5 initiative, and they started teaching the CE5 initiative to other people, right? Joe Rogan had him on. I watched that episode, and he was talking about the same story about being like not abducted. He was like, he had like an encounter. It's like, hey, you want to come with me? Kind of thing. You know, it was not nefarious. It was a loving energy. And that's what Jake Barber keeps like stressing. It's like loving, bro. Like, this is not nefarious. This is like loving. And then one thing that they're saying is all religions talked about the exact same thing, right? Like in Hindu religion, you have like psychics, you have like the cities, bro. The cities in yoga, you're able to levitate things with your mind. It's all based off of love, vibration, stuff like that, right? So he said that Stephen Greer is 30 years ahead of everyone, and that CE5 protocol that he learned from the NHI and that you can download the app right now. He's like, that's what they used. They don't call it CE5, but it's the exact same protocol to bring the craft down the craft. But now they're doing like demonstration shows and like they're going to bring it forward. What do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting to see those demonstrations. Right.
Sounds goddamn crazy, bro. So what they're saying is like 2025. This is like now they're just gonna like do it, because like because they have like the financial backing. These people are not afraid. One thing that Ross Coulthart said is like, are you afraid that there's gonna be retaliation? Because like there's a lot of people that have been killed related to this program, and he said the most John Wick thing I've ever heard. He said, "I'm not afraid of the boogeyman. I am the boogeyman," and I was like, you're so sick, bro. Yeah. So before I continue, what are your thoughts?
Yeah,
is it like ontologically shocking? Is it like how do you feel actually? No, because one thing that he said was like people are like they're gonna like, because Ross was like, the interviewer was like, you're gonna have an ontological shock when you hear this. You're like, oh my god, like this is crazy. And then what Jake said was, no, it's going to be ontological relief, because you're going to be like, oh, this is what I've been thinking the entire time. Like there's something going on here. And now it's like, yeah, there was something going on. It's that 80-year PSYOP campaign that we talked about before, where it's like telling you it's not real, bro. Like, it's just Star Wars. That's not real. You know, it's just Star Trek. That's not real.
Right.
You know, but it's like, no, we did this on purpose to make you think it's fiction. But it's like, no, you can do these things with your mind. But what do you think? Now you're like, I don't know, maybe, yeah.
Well, I don't know about all that stuff since I've seen things on the other side, right? So
Same. Like you mean like magicians?
yeah,
Is that mean or same? I'm like now show me, bro. Like you just
exactly.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on this one now. I'm like, there's something there.
Hmm.
There's a there, but now show me what you got. And that's what he said. He's like, don't believe me. Just watch in 2025.
Yeah.
His
Yeah, no,
and
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm waiting for because I've
same,
seen
bro.
those. I've seen those like the $1 million psychic trying to remember
I
that
agree.
thing,
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah.
Nobody
Like prove it's not
was
real.
able
Yep.
to prove it. So let's
Yep.
see.
Same. But what I'm like really interested about is like the fact that remember we're like, why does everyone keep like not talking about Stephen Greer or whatever? Like, oh, it's
Mm,
weird. He's like hating the community. And then it makes sense now. He's hating the community because they're using his protocol, bro. There there for sure is a PR campaign trying to smear him, right?
hmm.
Because like, why would you smear like of course, like he has the we're using the same technique, bro. So of course I'm gonna make you think that you're crazy and like smear
Right.
you and stuff. And the interesting part is like it's hard to smear these people that just came out because they're such high operators. Like their credentials, their backing is just so high that it's like it's too tough to be like, oh, you have a PTSD or like blah blah blah, like or but it's like no, like look, I run these operations. I'm a knock. Like you like I had a secret life that everyone had no idea about,
Hmm.
which is my goddamn dream, bro. I Night Watch, please sign me up for I'd love to be a part of your team. Just I don't
Right.
even know what I can do, but just like I was telling Tara that, and she's like, "Well, what would you even do?" Like, blah blah. I'm like, I don't know, bro. Like maybe you need a marketer. Like I don't know. Just like I want to be a part of that world. You know
Well,
what
I
I mean?
think I don't know if they need a marketer or isn't the whole idea supposed to be not known?
Oh yeah, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. The knock world. You're right. You're right. You know what? I'd make a terrible knock because I just tell you on this podcast and be like, dude, I just went to Syria, bro. It's crazy.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that tight-lipped thing going on. But I mean, like Night Watch should be really cool because it's out in the public. It's like, hey, we're like, doing this thing. And then they asked him like, what is your dream, your vision for the future? And this was so cool. He was like, just as excited as I'm getting. He's like, I think this is an exciting time in our future because like, if once we prove that CE5 is real, we make contact with these NHI crafts, and then we've like universally because what he said. Oh, this is crazy. I should say this as well. But hold on. So he's like, I would love to be driving down the road and see a billboard for the army signing you up to make, or like not the army, but like some government organization signing you up to go travel interstellar space and make contact with these different, basically Star Trek. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
sign me up, bro. That
Hmm.
sounds so cool. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that sounds
Right.
so freaking cool. So basically, what came out was that you can psychically link with these crafts, and that's how they're piloting them. It has nothing to do with like electronics. It's all from your consciousness.
Hmm.
That's why you need meditation, because you have to be able to clear your mind of all the chatter in order to pilot it.
Right.
Because you have to be like clearly thinking. You know what I mean? So one thing he said. So remember that thing about human trafficking, about like related to this, and I was like, oh my god, like human trafficking. He brought that up. So when he heard, oh, I forgot that dude's name, but he was like in Indonesia and they were rounding up people onto
Hmm.
this like ship, and then it was like, oh, it's probably human trafficking. Like he saw UAP in like his thing, and then they were like, oh, we're gonna kill you. And then he's like, oh, why are there crates and like HVACs, like air conditioning systems? He's like, oh, they're obviously human trafficking and drug trafficking. Okay.
Hmm.
So Jake Barber saw that. He was still a knock. And then he went to Congress and he heard that dude's testimony. And then he asked Stephen Greer, can I speak to that guy? So Stephen Greer made the connection with him and that guy, because that guy and Stephen Greer are like super tight. And what he said was, you have it close but not correct. What you came upon is real, like the operation, but it's not human trafficking. However, the people that are recruited into these like psychic people that are recruited, most often it's indigenous people and children. And they are recruited into the program, and the thing that you saw was actually their working container. So during these CE5 protocols, you have to be put in like a state where like you can't hear or see because you have to go into a very meditative state, right? In order to call the crafts. So he's like, what you're seeing is like what we use. He's like, we use that, bro, in order to like call the crafts. The thing you stumbled upon is like their working unit, and they're psychically calling these crafts so that they can like interact with them. But he's like, when you think of human trafficking, you think about like, oh, like, you know, sex trade, all that stuff. He's like, these people actually come willingly and are a part of, like, in their tribe, it's more honored. It's like, we have this psychic ability. We have like a psychic here, you know, and they get paid really well. They get like food and shelter, all this, like it's like a commendable job. Right. And he said that the one linking thing is you can't come at this Okay, let me talk about meditation really quick. So I went down like the meditative path, like the yoga journey and stuff like that. There's one time that it peaked for me and I hit this meditative state and it felt like us playing outside in summer. That was the emotion. I went to the teacher at the time. It was Alex, and I was like, oh my God, dude, I had the most amazing experience. He's like, oh, what was it? I was like, I don't know, it felt like summer. Like to me, that feeling of love is like us playing outside in summertime. And like as I was meditating, I was just overwhelmed with like, oh, it feels like summer. Like we're playing outside, we're just having fun, like carefree, nothing is there, right?
Yeah.
And he said that in order to attract the craft, you have to be in a deep state of love. So there can be no fear there. So like when you're like human trafficking, blah, 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 like, oh, they're being taken against their will. If there was any of that, they actually can't call the craft. The craft only respond to love.
Right.
So that's why I think, you know, when Jeremy Corbell or like the Project Bluebeam were going to fake an alien invasion and like all that stuff, it's like, I don't think that's going to happen anymore. I don't think we're going to get like a world because of Night Watch and like what this dude is saying. I don't think we're going to get like COVID 2.0. I think we're just going to go full steam ahead on cyberpunk utopia, bro. And that's what I'm calling right now. What do you think?
Yeah, that'd be great if that's the case.
That'd be freaking sick, bro. We're all like levitating shit with our minds and like, no, but for real though, like this could be where we're headed.
Yeah.
And like, and that's what he's like, that's why he wants to come out. He's like, this is all stemming from a place of love and divinity. And then one thing that they said is like, this is the through line within all religions. Every single religion always talks about love, an infinite abundance of like. And they're like, is the NHI linked to religious experience? Because it's like, remember he said he's flying, he cried, and then now he's like, oh, I'm not even afraid because I know the NHI is protecting me. Dude, you sound like Jesus, bro. Jesus said the exact same thing. You know? Yeah. So it's like, maybe, total speculation, but is the NHI's work to, like, maybe it's like an advanced civilization and they're like, oh, they're on the cusp of something. Let's just help them along. You know? And like, this helping along is like them making us more loving like them. Because maybe you can only travel intergalactic space with love. Does that make sense?
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, if it's based off of love, I'm saying like if it is like all love based, like it's true, like. But then I started to think like, isn't heroin the same sensation of love? So what if they're just like jacking these people up with heroin?
Yeah,
and telling them to call?
Yeah, I was wondering like, why can't you do that? Right?
And then
you can trick the mind with chemicals.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, that could be like nefarious though. Like, let's hope that that's not the case. But that's when I was listening to that, and he's like, yeah, children. I'm like, if you watch a lot of those drug trafficking movies, they use heroin as a means to make them stay. Like, they actually don't want to escape because they're so heroin addicted.
Right.
I'm like, is that what's going on? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. But, like, you're right. You can chemically fool the brain. So that could be nefarious. Which would be crazy if that's happening. Okay, anything about that? Any questions about that? Any like, I don't know about that? I have another interesting thing about that related to this.
Well, yeah, I mean, as you said, like this is what they're going to show in 2025.
I'm so freaking excited, bro. I'm like, okay, if this is it, like this is the cyberpunk future. Okay, check this out. So next thing. This is about me now. This is about me. So, would you say I have a pretty good ability to call things? Almost like intuition. It's like it doesn't know.
True.
I don't know if it's gonna work out, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, that's actually kind of correct. Like with this like alien thing, it's like for some reason I was like, my intuition's telling me this is correct. Would you say that's true? Like my job,
Yeah.
my like me traveling, like just
Right,
like
right.
everything I do is like very
Yeah,
intuition based. Okay. So yeah, wow, Athena really wants to interrupt this conversation. So you'd say that's true, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Am I left-handed?
Yeah.
Would you say that I am a creative individual?
Sure. Yeah.
Would you say that I don't really like adhering to the rules of society? Like I'd rather like march by the beat of my own drum.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd say that's true. Would you say that I am a peaceful warrior? Meaning that I
Sure.
have the skills to kill you, but I'm also like very
Right.
funny and like
True. Yeah.
you'd say that's true. Would you say I'm like I can be goofy but also serious?
Yeah. True.
Okay. These are all the qualifications for what Jake Barber said is the propensity of the type of person who is attracted to these programs. Yeah, bro. No, not the NHI, not the I can't call them, but
Oh,
like
okay.
the warrior, like his team of operators
Yeah.
that all believe in this stuff, all have those exact same qualities. As he was explaining that, I was like, wait, that's me. Wait, that's me. Wait, that's me. And I was like, is this the reason why inherently I'm attracted to this subject? Because just like them, I'm like, dude, there's something going on here. I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
True. Yeah.
And one thing he said was like his parents come from a military background, like his not grandparents. So like he had a weird childhood. So he had two grandparents that were in the army. Okay. And his parents like had a divorce, and then he would often like live outside in nature. And then he like so basically he would like I'm going to my mom's house. Oh, okay, I'm actually going to my dad's house, but he would live on his own in the woods because he's like home life is too bad. So then his grandparents were like who were in the army. They tried to set him straight, like hey, just join the military. Like we're gonna try and do something for you, whatever, right? Try and structure your way of life. I also have a grandfather that was a general in the army, and remember, like I was like I don't know what it is, but there's a reason why I'm like. I just want to keep fighting for some reason. But I'm also super like I would never fight you in the street, but like I'm obsessed with learning how to kill people. Like I don't know what it is. Like I was telling you the jujitsu thing. Like as I was like, I'm like, okay, today I'm gonna pretend I'm a cop, and then I'm gonna like roll jujitsu with a like as if I'm have a holster, right? So and I was telling Tara like for the longest time I'm training for something, but I don't know what. You guys saw it all the time. Remember, I was like, "Oh, my Batman." You're like, "Why are you obsessed with like martial arts and like going? Like remember how we'd hang out and start doing push-ups? That's what you're doing, bro. Right? It's stupidness. But it's like I'm training for something that I have no idea what I'm training for. But something's like calling me to train towards something. You know? And I'm like, was this the intuition to this? Like, if we open the door into this, and it's like, let's go. Because one thing he said was, you're still gonna need warriors, right? In this world because you need to protect yourself, right? But the difference is this: the warriors can either come from a place of scarcity, so you fight wars because you're like, oh, I have no like my country doesn't have resources, so we're gonna kill you. You know what I mean? Like a scarcity war. Or you fight a war based off of like love. I want to protect the people that I love, so I'm gonna be so good that I can protect them. Right? There's two ways to go about it. And if you read the book Shambhala Warrior, that's what it is. It's like these warriors who are basing it off of love. It's like I just want to be so good because I want to protect the thing that I love. I want to protect love, right? And like, is that where this is headed? If we open the door and they're like, okay, let's interact with, let's just like space fair. Like, would I sign up to be like a military officer in the space? It's like, we're going to go to this civilization. We don't know if they're hostile. Might need you. You know what I mean? Like, I really believe that it's looped. Like, if quantum entanglement, what they say about it is real, like, the atom in the future is still attached to the atom in the past. So that's how you're able to, like, That's what they think the Stargate remote viewing is. Like if I know the answer in the future, there's a higher likelihood of me getting that correct in this moment for like remote viewing, right? Oops. So is it like we're being called? Remember we had that talk about
Yeah,
intuition? Like what the
yeah,
hell is
yeah,
intuition, bro?
yeah.
Like is the future me calling the present me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you think? Like why do we all make these weird decisions and it just makes sense later on? You're like, oh, that's why I did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you and I, we're hard determinists, which is like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I believe that like my past actions influence my future actions. But now they're saying like, it looks like atoms are tangled through time.
Mm-hmm.
So like the future you is the same as the current you. Like they're linked, but it's
Right.
about getting there.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, Drake, are we being pushed forward or being drawn? Or maybe it's both. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. These are cutting edge
It's weird though. It's weird to think
quantum
about though,
physics.
right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's why I'm so excited about the future. Like, there's a moment there I was nervous.
Mm.
We're gonna get into that. That's gonna be the last topic. The beginning of the week really freaked me out, and then the end of the week, this thing that he said, I'm like, okay. So I'm gonna call it right now. The biggest war and hurdle that we're gonna go get past, and I believe it's gonna work. Is we are going to have a battle between good and evil, but not like a war. I think we're all going to have. We talked about this on the podcast like a few times, a few podcasts ago, where it's like good and evil. The battle between good and evil is your everyday decisions, right? Like I'm fighting the demon at all times. Like, oh, I could do this, but I could do that. You know, I think we're going to have a battle between good and evil in this next year and coming years, where it's like the war will be the decisions we decide to make. And that will dictate the outcome of how our global society operates for the rest of like going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be a decision between like, do we fall into fear or do we fall into love? Or we rise into love. And I think ultimately love is going to win. And Jake Barber said that the weapon of love is truth. If we just tell the truth, love will, like, you're just gonna,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's through the hiding, the 80 years of hiding that we got to this point of like corporations running the world, right? But if we just out it and you're not afraid of the truth, then love will prevail. And I think love will prevail. No, I don't think, I know, I feel that love will prevail. That's the future where we're headed, I believe. Now getting into the first week of Trump's office. That was the craziest thing I have ever seen in my life. Bro, okay, check this out. We weren't going to do, this is kind of like private information. Let's say allegedly. Allegedly, we weren't going to do, allegedly this organization wasn't going to do a Black History Month post. Because like, oh, like we're not really espousing those philosophies. Like we want to like preach what we do. You know, like we don't want to like use it as like tokenization. Be like, yeah, Black History Month, you know, like, oh, but we don't really care about Black people, right? So, not that we don't, I'm just saying it's like you don't want to come off that way. So, I was on board. I was like, yeah, it makes total sense, bro. Like, given the history of this, whatever. And then Monday through Wednesday happened, and I was like, hey guys, I'm just gonna change my tune really quick, and I think we should probably put a BHM post because we need to make a stance on positivity right now because there's a lot of negativity right now. Even if we get hate for it, we just need to show which side we're on. That's the war. That's the war I was talking about. Good or evil, bro.
Yep.
Like, I was like, we need to be on the right side here. So let's just make one. Even if people are pissed, at least we show where we're at. And yeah, they were on board. They're like, yeah, I totally agree with you. But like, I don't know. Like, what did you feel? Were you like, bro, what's going on?
Yeah, a lot of craziness. Yeah.
All right. We'll go through yours because like, let's see what craziness you came up with, because I was like, dude, this is looking insane right now, bro.
From Trump stuff, I mean, whatever the things that he's signing, what do they call it? Like the
Executive orders.
executive orders.
Oh my god, bro! I was like, oh wait, what?
What was it
Bro,
called? The
day one.
birthright citizen thing. I think that's probably going to get contested, though. I don't know if that's even.
No, it doesn't even matter. So this is the craziest part. This is the craziest part about the whole thing. Remember I said that there's gonna be a war between good and evil coming up, right?
Mhm.
And it's gonna be based off of like actions that we see every day,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not that it's gonna get passed. It's going to empower
Oh,
negative
right.
people.
Yeah. Sure.
So it's like even if like, okay, it's gonna get contested. Right, sure, okay. Let's say it doesn't go through. How many other people like we shouldn't do that too? Yeah, that's right. We should should hate on those people. You know what I mean? It's like it's the signal.
Oh, yeah,
And you're
yeah.
like, oh, here's the good versus evil fight right here.
Yeah, right.
Right?
I mean, the
So like
Elon Musk thing.
oh my god, I want to ask you about that one.
Okay,
So
I'll tell
Tara
you.
was like,
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
oh, okay. I'll just tell you Tara's opinion on it.
sure.
So she was not an opinion, but like, so she was not on social media. The whole week I was like, dude, this is crazy. What are we doing? And she's like, I'm busy, like, working
Sure.
on like some thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then yesterday she was like, wait, did you see the Elon Musk thing? I'm like, you're like 5 days too late, bro. But like, she's like, that was crazy. I'm like, yeah, as a PR person, like as a marketer, I
He
don't
knows
even know how you can
what
spin
he's
that.
doing. He knows what he's doing.
Okay, so you and Tara are on the exact same page. I was like, I can understand how maybe. So some person was like, you get a lot of energy, so it's like you don't know what you're doing, right? Blah blah blah. And you're saying like, I'm taking my heart, I'm giving it out to people, and you're like,
He's done it
you're like,
before, but he's done it
okay,
like
no,
this.
that's
He's
what
done
I saw
this.
too, bro. The
It's-
heart thing.
Yeah.
So I saw that too, and I was like, okay, maybe let's say give you the benefit of the doubt, you're giving your heart out to people. Okay? It still looks friggin' weird.
Yeah.
Like, as a marketer, I don't, he's like, oh, it's so tired, this Nazi thing, like this Nazi
So,
argument.
so
I'm like,
I'll say this.
ooh.
I don't think he's a Nazi, but he knows what he's doing. But the people that are Nazis are viewing that as a Nazi sign.
Yes.
So,
Yes. And then they had the Nazi people come out and celebrate too. Do you see that white supremacist thing?
yeah. And then, like,
In that
he's
news, like they all came out in hordes.
right. And then, there's stuff he's influencing a lot of stuff in politics in Europe. There's a party
really?
there, like the right-wing party, ADL or something like that. So if he's doing these signals, these are signals, or like he's not,
Yeah.
he's trolling, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So we're aligned on this one. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen. And let's talk about, again, it's like the battle between good and evil. It's going to be in our daily actions that we choose to go with good or evil. But there's a war going on. That Nazi salute, a war. That's like, okay, like psychological war. Let's see where we're headed. So one thing that Trump said, like right away, and this is when I was like, we need to make our stance now. We need to say which side we're on. Like, we just need to signal to people. So Trump was like, we only recognize two genders, male and female. Okay, so for you and I, in the beginning, I didn't, admittedly, I was confused about like, all right, why do you need so many genders, blah, 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 whatever. But then if you listen to that podcast where we're just like, indifference, bro. You do you, will do, like, if that makes you comfortable, it's not hurting me, bro. Like, I don't care. Sure, they, them, these, thems, or who cares? I really don't care. Do you, bro? That's not me. But like, I'm not holding against it. So Trump's argument was like, yeah, you do whatever you want, but America's only recognizing two genders. Like, do whatever you want, but legally that's not real. So it's like, either slavery is real or not real. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, so then we're talking about signaling and empowerment. So remember, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this liberal party. I'm going to vote conservative, whatever. Okay. I'm like, yeah, this next election. Well, the dude just lost my vote. because did you see what he said?
Yeah. It's still aligning with Trump's view. Yeah.
With Trump. Yeah. And this is the line. This is the good versus evil battle I'm like talking about, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like the interviewer was like, do you see more than he's like, what other genders are there? I don't know, you tell me what other and you're like, oh, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
The evil is coming out in people. Now we need to see the good battle the evil. It's not going to be a war of like guns. It might turn into that, who knows? But it's going to be a war of ideologies.
Yeah.
And depending on how we play out the next little bit, that's going to shape the trajectory of the way we live our lives for the rest of like going forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, and then the NDP leader in Canada was like, so like when Trump said that thing, so this is the sequence of events. Trump said that thing. The NDP leader was like, Canada needs to be a safe haven for, like, you know, like
those communities. Yeah, sure.
those communities. Thank you. Yeah. And then following that, then the conservative leader was like, I also only recognize two genders. And you're like, okay, here we go. Like I thought Canada was going to be a safe place. You know, think about the Underground Railroad. You had slavery in America, like on the South, and then as you traveled northward, it became safer and safer.
Yeah.
And their goal was to come to Canada because there was no slavery in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, is that what's going to happen? Is America going to be so crazy that people are going to run to Canada for a safe harbor?
People are, yeah. But
right? But then the conservative leader saying that, now I'm like, I can't in good conscience
but
vote
he has
conservative.
a big chance of winning. Almost a sure chance he's going to win.
But almost a sure chance. And that's the battle.
Yeah,
This is what Tara said. Like, she was like to me, because we were talking about good and evil, the battle. I'm like, yeah, with the UAP stuff, like there's gonna be a battle. Like she agrees. She's like, yeah, 0 point energy. Like you've made such a strong argument. People have shown it, blah, blah, blah. Right. But she's like, but there's no way corporations are going to let free energy and this utopia you speak of come to fruition. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's a defeatist mindset. If I took that mindset, what would the point be of living, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, it's done. All right.
Right.
Screw DEI, screw being inclusive, you know? Like one thing I like about Boulder Park. Okay, this is shade. This is going to be shade, but whatever. Sorry, guys. One thing I like about Boulder Park is when you sign up, they have like a pride flag. Right. I'm not gay, bro. I don't like. Do you, bro? I don't care. But one of their rules is you have to be nice to every single person here.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, like while I was going through the sign up process, and like we have certain rules here. Don't put on the mask. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And the final one's like you have to be nice to everyone. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. You said that, you know. And then the pride flag, and then at my old jiu-jitsu gym, not going to name names, but it was very toxic masculinity, and I really hate that about jiu-jitsu because it's a very toxic place, you know.
Yeah.
It's very like, oh, blah, blah. So at 10th Planet, I'm actually naming this place because like I love this place. 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, the whole concept is come as you are. You're just good if you're good.
Mm-hmm.
There's one instructor there, I'm pretty sure is gay. I haven't asked him if he's gay, but like he teaches the class and he will kill you, but he's very flamboyant.
Right. Okay.
And there are a few other people there that are flamboyant that will kill you. So I'm like, oh, these are my people, bro. Like, be whatever you want to be. We're just here to learn how to kill people. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like that, I think that's where we need to head, bro. Not this regressive, like.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
So there's the battle. You're like, oh, conservatives are most likely going to win. After seeing that, I'm like, I just can't vote you anymore. I have to go liberal. Even if Trudeau was going to come back, I didn't like what he did, but like, this is the war we're fighting. NDP is not going to win. That's a throwaway vote. Green Party, not going to win. It's really just like liberal and conservative. And like, you got to go liberal. Simply for that. I don't care about your policies. It's really just like, do you humanize people? Yes or no? And that's it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so all right, continue about because he did some crazy. What about the World Health Organization thing? I was like, dog, what is that
Yeah,
real?
I mean,
Like,
we
what are you
don't know the
doing?
ramifications of all these things. This is just, oh, and like other things, like people are not even like talking about. So he's saying he's running on lowering drug prices, but when you remove one of Biden's thing, that's just increasing drug prices for Americans, and they don't even realize he did that.
I dog. Okay, check this out. I saw this thing where it's like the most. Why is it the lowest income is the conservative states?
No.
Low socioeconomic status relates to low education. Sorry, not sorry. It's true though.
Hmm.
Lower quality, right? Why are these people not putting two and two together? Okay, hold on, hold on. Let me just backtrack though. Rewind 8 years ago. Me and Wob were walking. I always bring the story up because it's like this is really what like happened. We were walking on the Rouge on the path, and we were like, it would be so like I genuinely hope Trump wins because it would be hilarious and it'd be the craziest like shakeup ever. And we were like, yeah, but like it could be bad, but it'd be crazy. Let's just see. Like it'd be
Hmm.
like we
Hmm.
love chaos. Let's see how chaotic it can get. And now we're like, oh, this is how chaotic it can get, bro. I really feel like people are analogizing him to Hitler. I'm not saying he's Hitler, but like it's a different version of Hitler, bro. This is like some
So this, yeah,
crazy.
yeah, this is another thing I'd say to that. You, you didn't know Hitler was Hitler till after,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Exactly. We weren't in the Great Recession. You didn't call it the Great Recession in the Great Recession. You just
Hmm.
after the fact, you're like, oh, that was crazy. So like all these people being like, oh, he's Hitler 2.0, and you're like, I don't know, like love a good chaos story. So like let's just see how this goes.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's like it's almost like you need the darkest before the dawn. So like the American people were tired of the bureaucracy, so they voted for Trump.
Hmm.
And now we're in the darkest, but I really believe the dawn is coming. With this UAP stuff, I think the way forward is through the UAP stuff. What Jake Barber is saying, like we need to all be on the same page of love in order to like travel intergalactically.
Hmm.
And I'm like, if that is the precursor to intergalactic travel, I'm all on board.
Sure. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
because like this is the only the bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right, right.
Love is the only way forward, bro. This is crazy to me.
Hmm.
And like, so here's the other thing about the low education thing. So everyone's like, oh yeah, Trump's gonna work for us, like blah blah. He's like, we were paying so much. Remember we looked at last podcast, $32,000 is the average income, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then like healthcare prices are so bad, so it's like basically you're in enslavement, debt enslavement.
Hmm.
Did you see the Simu thing?
Yeah.
That was crazy too, because he's like, I'm Canadian, but I have property in America. I pay American taxes, but why am I paying less taxes now through this new tax program? I'm like, ooh, this is what you talked about. Remember you, Vish?
Hmm.
Remember you were like, you're like, I think that Elon and all these people are siding with him because it's for the rich. And I was like, I didn't get what you meant. But like
No,
when
yeah.
Simu said that, I was like, oh, they're really
Watch.
because
He should be. I think. I like Bernie right now too. He's doing some. He's
wait, we're
standing his
getting into
ground and
him.
stuff.
Yep, we're getting to Bernie. I love Bernie too, but yeah, continue. Yeah.
No, I'm
What do you
with
say?
because
Watch.
he's. Uh, oh, at the inauguration, they were all there.
That's what I was gonna dog.
Like again, I thought we were against social media companies or these tech companies to be involved with government,
And ruling the world. They're
and
blatantly
but
putting
they're
it in your
just.
face.
This is blatant. This is in front of your face, and you
Yeah,
still don't believe it.
yeah. And you know what they're saying? They're so dumb they won't believe it. It is right in your face,
Yeah,
dog.
they're there. Like I think what something was saying is like it
Ooh.
was Trump's family, and then behind them were the tech guards, and then behind them were the people for government. So
Yeah.
who's, you know what I mean? Like it's all in the seating placements of these people.
Totally. Okay, so what Bernie? So I learned about this in school, but they in school they're like, there's no way this is gonna happen in a regular
Hmm. Hmm.
Western economy. This would never happen. It's an oligopoly. So
Yep.
Russia runs as an oligopoly. That's why in school they're like, Russia's bad, oligopoly's this. That's how things run. But luckily we have democracy in the West. Blah blah blah. So if you don't know what an oligopoly is, it's when the really rich help dictate government.
Hmm.
Essentially, it boils down, right? And Bernie was like, "This is an oligopoly." And what you just said about all the tech people, why was it Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and was there another guy?
Google CEO,
Google
and
CEO?
Apple CEO. Don't forget Apple was there. It
Oh,
was
I
not
didn't
in the
see that.
picture, but Apple was. Tim Cook was there. All these guys giving like money to the inauguration.
Dog, what the hell's going on? I thought you guys were all competitors, but why are you all together?
So that's
Weird,
the
bro.
only argument would be because they're still competitors, but they don't
But
want
like,
to. They're
are
still
you?
working with the government, all right?
But you know
In that
that
sense,
who's on top, bro?
right?
Mark Zuckerberg. So Mark Zuckerberg removed. Okay, I agree with you, Mark Zuckerberg. So like, not I don't agree with you, but like I can see your point. So he removed tampons in the men's bathroom. Right. Totally. Why would a man need a tampon? Unless they were transitioned into a man. So maybe they do, right? But these are again all signals. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
you removing that, it's like, who did that hurt though? Like, sure.
Yep.
You want that, bro. And I get people are like, oh, you're such like a bleeding heart liberal, like blue hair, whatever, whatever. I'm like, I agree that they can go pretty far. Both sides can go pretty far.
Sure.
But it's like, it's better to add than remove.
Mm-hmm.
If you start making crazy restrictions, who's left on the table? That's what they did to black people, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can't sit on this bus. Oh, you can't come to this restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
You're removing things.
Yep.
And it's like, and when he put all those DEI people on leave,
Mm-hmm.
you saw that too? Like all the
Well,
people who worked in Washington,
yeah,
like DEI staff or something, you like put them
yeah,
on
yeah, yeah,
leave for a
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Like, this is another signal. You're
Right.
not putting up with this. And I'm just like, but this is the jujitsu bro. Like Mark Zuckerberg is a jujitsu bro.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Rogan's Joe Rogan is at the thing, and after the Stephen Greer thing came out, so my new favorite podcast, it was Joe Rogan's before, but like his guests have been like kind of meh, right? Like, and then like listening to his like philosophies, it's like Sean Ryan's my new favorite podcast because he's had Stephen Greer on, he's had like Forbidden Knowledge, right? And Stephen Greer's like, Joe Rogan's a shill for this UAP project. Like he had to take my
Mm-hmm.
podcast episode
Mm-hmm.
down to get the 100 million. And you're like, no way, bro. You find out Stephen Greer did have a podcast with Joe Rogan and it's not on available on Spotify.
Right.
Why would you do that? Unless the CIA was like, hey, he's giving away our secrets, don't let him on there.
Mm-hmm.
But Sean Ryan was in the documentary that Forbidden Knowledge put on, Stephen Greer put on. Sean Ryan's obviously on the side of good. So I'm like, that's my new favorite host, right? And he also had the Monroe Institute guy on. Like that's where I heard the psychic spy viewing.
Right.
So like to me, I feel like even Dana White was there, and it's just like you want to talk about inclusivity, but I don't know Joe Rogan, I don't know Dana White, I don't know Mark Zuckerberg, like I don't know Elon Musk. Like the frig are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pause for alarm.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know,
But like
but not
freaky
in a,
though,
I don't know.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not
Yeah.
in a,
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah. Not in necessarily a good way. It's just I don't know what's gonna happen
yeah,
with this. There's there. Yeah. It's a different. I would say it's a different Trump era than the last one.
yes. And he's coming on strong, bro. This is like aggression. This is like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that all this being said, you know, when they talk about like, oh, the secret government, like the psyops and all that stuff, I really think that America is broken. So this to me, like this
Sure.
signaled the beginning of the week. It signaled like, oh, America's broken.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the Jake Barber stuff, like, oh yeah, but you're excited about UAPs. No, that's a secret government program that's gone awry, and Jake Barber's trying to fix it
Mm-hmm.
by coming forward. Even talking about love, he's trying to fix it, bro. Like these are warriors of light that are trying to combat the evil.
Right.
And I'm all for the warriors of light because I really feel like evil took over America.
Oh yeah.
You agree? Like, America feels evil to me now.
I'll show you a clip. It's
At the end?
ideologies. Ideologies have, which is, we can say evil.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Like,
Right.
not like, I don't mean like demons and stuff, but like
No. Yeah, I know
negative,
that.
you know, like this kind of evil, bro. Like,
Yeah.
like you have Puff Daddy or P. Diddy on trial. You have Epstein. Dog, these are evil things. You have Trump, who just like just shown his cards. Elon Musk doing the Nazi salute. You're like, these are evil things, bro. Yeah. What do you think about the tariff thing? Because I've been seeing that a lot. Where he's like, yeah, like we're gonna tariff you like 25%, and like you should just consider becoming the 51st state. I'm like, that's another war. If we fall and become the 51st state of America, that's the cycle. That's the good versus evil war right there. But like, what do you think about the tariffs? Like, everyone's saying that that's just going to affect businesses, though. That's just going to raise prices.
Yeah. It's going to cause inflation.
For the end consumer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not actually like they're not strong arming us in some way. You know, they're like, all right. My prediction is this: America is so blatantly evil, and they're pushing back to the point that all countries are like, dog, this is crazy right now, right? I think that with the UAP disclosure, because it's like one thing that Jake Barber said is that he's like, it's not American bound. It's international entities, right? Like, he's run projects. He's been contracted, not by China, he said. He's like, definitely not China. But he's like, I've been contracted by other countries to do these missions for them.
They're probably allies
So
with America, right?
yeah, right. So he's like, it's global. So my prediction is that when this UAP technology comes out, America is going so crazy that other countries are going to switch over to infinite 0 point energy. They're going to be like, okay, cool. You want to control, we're just going to make our own stuff. Well, we have the patents for 0 point energy. We're just going to use 0 point energy. I feel like all these countries, like Canada included, are just going to go towards 0 point energy, and America's just going to fall. I think this is the end of, I really think that this is the end of America becoming the superpower. I can't see any other way around it. Like,
Right.
4 years of this, like, what are you going to do in 4 years, bro? And it's been 1 week, and I'm already like, dude, that's insane. Like, either China's going to take over, Asia's crazy on the rise, or like, maybe we'll become more independent, but I don't see America being like the superpower anymore. What do you think? Like, yeah, they have the military might, but like, dude, it's crumbling. Like, you're going to do tariffs on Canada and Mexico. Like, we're going to be pissed.
Yeah.
So your allies are
right.
pissed. So like, okay, so you have the most military, but you have no allies. Cool story, bro. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know about necessarily losing the world power thing, but people are going to go more like internal, like in the sense of like protecting their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's, to be, before they would trust America, for these other things, these allies that they have. So now it's more like, okay, we can't necessarily trust everything to America. We have to do it ourselves as well.
Yeah, totally. And I think that what Stephen Greer said was correct. He's like, if they go to war with these UAP technologies, it's game over. Like, they'll win. Their technology is way too great. Like, they can like literally become a military industrial world. So what Stephen Greer said is this: we need to get this message out to as many people as possible that this is going on. Because then when people realize that they're a part of this like nefarious project, you don't even know you're a part of a nefarious project. They're just, because it's so compartmentalized.
Right.
But once you realize you're a part of a nefarious project, the onus is going to be on the pilot of that craft. because you can't have government officials telling you what to do, or you can't have government officials running things if the people that you're telling to do the work revolt. And he's like, the way forward is a peaceful transition of power by simply not following orders. And I think that that could happen where like Trump will get so crazy and he'll say something and then people are like, whether it's with UAPs or not, but like, I'm just saying because like UAP is like the Trump card because they definitely have that technology and it can take over the world. But I feel like the pilots will be like, I don't agree with this anymore. Like and then that's why I said like it'll fall.
Right.
Because like, or it might fall or like go back to the way it was. Or like there might be some like sort of, like I think this iteration of America is dead. Like there's no coming back. You need a new way or America is going to fall as the world superpower. Like that's all I can see. Like I can't see them like.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have 4 years, dog. 4 years of this. Like, what are you going to do in 4 years? This could be insane. Like, you know, like UAPs might be the answer
to save America.
To save America, yeah. Because if Jake Barber comes out with the Congress people, oh look, all this corruption, whatever, and then all those pilots are like, oh yeah, I'm not going to pilot your craft. Okay, let's go back to the founding roots of what made America great and let's rebuild. I could see that happening.
Right.
But I don't see like the only thing Trump has going for him is like fear. But if we're all coming from a place of love, like, hey man, you do you, bro. Like you could be that Z Zemzer if you want. Then there is no power in fear. It's just like it's only if we fall into that fear, like, yeah, you shouldn't be that. You shouldn't have that. Then like that's when we fall into like world chaos and then you get like actually get Satanists running the world. Like that is crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like
right. Yes.
I'm so glad you feel this way because I was like, is it just me or like this is really freaky?
Yeah.
I was getting like freaked out there. I was like, yo, this is crazy, bro.
So supposedly, well, not supposedly, like in that executive order, like he's releasing the JFK files, MLK files. Wait.
Okay,
there's one file that's not involved in there.
Okay.
Epstein files.
Why? Because they're all
one of his best friends was Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh. See? There you go. The darkness. Because Epstein was running off of like, I have blackmailable material on you. Right? So it's like, dude, this is Yu Yu Hakusho, bro. 90s anime was trying to tell us the whole time, bro. Yu Yu Hakusho, I'm watching it right now. It's about like, so it's about the spirit detective who's like meant to help save the world kind of thing, like protect the balance of good and evil, right? And what they're saying is that like corporate greed has taken over Earth, and those are the demons that are like running. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know. Like as a kid, you're like, I don't know if that's true, but like as things progress, you're like, oh, they were telling us the whole time, bro. Like these Epstein files, like why are you not putting them out? Because it would implicate everybody, bro. Like Prince Andrew was seen. Prince Andrew of the freaking UK hierarchy thing. Like, dog, how far-reaching is this? How evil is this? You know? And like, I think evil has hit like its critical mass.
Right.
Not critical mass because that means it'll take over, but like it's hit its like climax. And then I think good is fighting back now.
Yeah, that will happen. Yeah.
Right. I thought you were going to say something else about the release of the January 6th people.
Oh yeah, sure.
The hell is that, bro? Like that is crazy.
And it's, I mean, there are people that again, I think there was some police union, or at least, anyways, the release of some of them within that pile of names, they were, I thought he was for police officers. They were attacking police officers, and now they're out.
Yeah. Yes, bro. And that it's like, how much more do you have to spit in my face before I, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like before you just don't get it. And this is the miracle of the internet, because like the truth is our weapon. like seeing this, like he would have just signed all this and you'd have never known because the media, the legacy media, like CNN, Fox, all that, it's like it's infiltrated too. You can only see this through like social media and like, well, I mean, sure, I'm sure you could see it through like CNN and stuff, but it's like you can dig deeper with it. It's like, let me read that Reddit file. What's that person saying? Like, you know, you can go like rabbit holes and you're like, oh, dude, like you really, you're entrenched in your corruption. You know what I mean? Like, whereas before it's like, it's kind of just surface level. You're like, oh, he just signed this executive order. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, imagine if we had social media during the time of Hitler. You're like getting these tweets like, yo, this guy's making a camp full of Jews right now, bro. You know, like,
Oh yeah,
we
right.
have that capability now, whereas before we didn't. It's just like, it was after the fact. Oh,
Sure.
did you see he was doing this the whole time? You're like, oh my God, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But like now we're just like sending photos. Like, I'm in a concentration camp right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it would have been so different. And I think like that's like Jake Barber says, like, our weapon is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could see it and you're like, that made no goddamn sense, bro.
Right.
All right, what do you feel about the hand signs? Aside from like the Hitler salute, there's like this one, this like upside down triangle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not that much of a conspiracy theorist, but it was a little weird that his son or like his nephew or something, like went on stage and automatically did the sign, and then his like mom was like, hey, stop doing that.
I think this is
Like, are they, or his wife or whatever, were they trolling us? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Just like the Hitler salute.
Yeah, I don't
like,
know. I mean, sometimes I don't know if I necessarily believe that stuff.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed, but it's weird. It's like the Hitler salute. It's like could be like misconstrued. It's just weird.
Right.
All these things are weird now. You know? Like, are the conspiracy theorists that like we grew up like oh, that's not real, dude, that's crazy. No, like a hidden base on Mars, no way. Oh, we're actually descendants from aliens, no way. You know, like Greys, no way. You know, but like now you're like, oh wait, this is all starting to be true. Oh, secret hand signs about you being a part of like the Illuminati?
Mm-hmm.
No way. But you're like, dog, why did you do that though?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or okay, last. Oh wait. Speaking of, because I saw my notes, the tech thing. Remember, like the tech gatekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that thing about like Free Palestine is now censored? You can't write that on like TikTok or something. They showed
I think there was another
like,
one.
What?
There was another one where something about Trump or something. The UK TikTok, you can find it, but then it's not in the US TikTok.
What are we doing?
I thought they were against government control.
And you had all of the tech people right in front.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me again how you don't believe in conspiracies? You know what I mean? Like, dog, this is a little weird. Remember, like, during the COVID times, like I talked about it last time, where it's like, I just posted that quote. It had nothing to do with COVID, but it was being said during COVID. It was about Dragon Ball Z and Goku, and they blocked my post. It's like, oh, this is hate speech. I'm like, hate speech? Why?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like the Free Palestine thing. It's like, close. You're like, dog, what?
Yeah.
And you don't even, if you don't think it's real, we don't get news in Canada, bro. I get that that's because we didn't want to pay Meta, but like on social media, we don't get like news accounts. We can't see it, right? I was in America when I went to Austin, Texas with my sister. I was like, remember I messaged you guys? I'm like, hey guys, check it out. I've got like internet. I've got news back.
Right.
But like, we don't think that there are digital gatekeepers. And those digital gatekeepers are backing Trump because they were all standing behind him.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, bro? You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something nefarious is going on. And with all that, like two things. Are we someone else's reality TV show? So what I mean by that is this. You and I are watching Traders. So we were watching Trader, like, but then I made this joke, like, to Tara. I may have been a little elevated, so I like made this joke. I was like, "That's right, bleed for my amusement, bleed for my amusement." But it's true, suffer for my joy, right? And you're like, you are literally watching people like screw each other over for this game, and you're like, oh my god, this is crazy, right? If you were a rich multi-zillionaire, would society not look like a reality TV show to you? You're like, yo, what if I put goddamn Trump in, bro? And thing, yo, what if I put, you know what I mean? Like, there's a point where like you make so much money. Like this is just given fact that there are people that make so much money that they're detached from reality.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have no idea about everyday plight, right? To them, they wake up and this world is like a beautiful utopia for them where they're like infinite riches.
Right.
Do you think that maybe somebody at the top is just like I wonder if we push them in this direction?
Well,
You can conceive it, right? Oh yeah.
well, I mean, the top billionaires were there.
No, but I think that there are people who make more money. Well, you're right. And I mean, like, that's why Elon Musk is always trolling us, right? He's always Dogecoin, Doge, right? The Department of Doge.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, this guy's a troll. Even
They're
we
doing
said
it in
before,
front of
like,
us. They're doing. I think these are the ones. I don't think there's anything. These
There's
are
nobody
the
richer?
richest people in the world.
I heard that there's a dude called Jack Ma in China who owns like all of the buildings we own.
No, I
Like,
know who you're
I
talking
think-
about, but I don't think he's Jack Ma. He's Alibaba, right?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
They're
There's
Amazon. Their version of
Okay.
Amazon in China.
Oh, so then it's the equivalent, like Jeff Bezos then. Because
Yeah,
we're all
yeah.
using. Or so, yeah, maybe those were them. And they're like, yeah, how funny would it be if we just did this? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
yo, guys,
it's in front of our face. That's Elon Musk, right?
I
like,
know, right?
The closeness with
Yeah.
him and Trump is a little too close, right?
It's a little too close, bro. And like, he was on Joe Rogan being like, this is the most pivotal. This is what gets me. Like looking back at it now, he's like, "This is the most pivotal." I remember when we were giving our guess for like the election, and you were like, "No, I think what's her name is gonna take it." The
Come on.
girl, come
Come on.
And I'm like, "No, dude, I feel the energy is like with Trump." You know, it's because I saw that interview with Elon Musk.
Sure.
And he was like, this is the most important election of our time. And like, if we don't have this, we don't have freedom. And Joe Rogan had him on. Joe Rogan's like, yeah, I feel it too. And I'm just like, did I just get psyoped? Not me, but like, because I'm not American.
Sure,
But
sure.
did they just get psyoped through Joe Rogan and Elon Musk?
Yeah,
By
I
being
mean,
there,
they are the
and they're
biggest. They are the biggest.
Who's the number one
They
podcast
have the
in the
biggest
entire world?
viewership, right?
Joe Rogan. Who's the biggest like celebrity social media troll? Elon Musk. And they just pulled one over on everyone, being like, "This is the most important election of freedom. If we don't win this, we've lost freedom forever."
Well, his
And then
taxes
people
would have
like-
been too high. Yeah, that's what he was talking about.
But
I know.
The regular person.
Yeah,
is
yeah, no,
like,
I
"Oh my
know, I
God,
know,
freedom." You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, I agree with freedom. I too agree with freedom. Me myself. But like, looking at it now is a little weird.
Mhm.
You are very close to Trump, Elon Musk, and same with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's also very close to Trump. I'm like, who do you believe? Like, I feel like there is a weird psyop game going on. Not even with UFOs, just like
Sure. Yeah.
this Trump thing is like crazy. And like, you know that Elon Musk is a troll. He wanted to fight Mark Zuckerberg in the Roman Colosseum.
Right.
That's crazy to me. Like, oh, like, I mean, like, yeah, it's funny, but like, not if you run the world. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
not
yeah,
if you
yeah,
run
yeah,
like like, keep it separate, bro. Like, that's cool. So, do you think that right before the thing, he's like, guys,
But
guys,
what
guys,
happened to all that, right? They're just standing beside
I
each
know,
other.
right? Yeah. Totally. But yeah, totally. Because it's all a show, bro. It's WWE. Like behind the scenes, they're friends. So what if this is what happened, bro? Elon Musk is like, because you know he's a troll. He's like to Mark Zuckerberg, I bet you. Oh no, you want to make like a $5 million bet? Like, all right. Well, what is it? What is it? Do the Hitler sign.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And then Elon Musk's like, I will take that bet, sir. So he's like, screw it. Hitler sign. Like, think about like you and I as friends too. You and I, Wob. How many times were we like, yo, Wob, do you think you could break that thing? And he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm gonna try it. Why wouldn't they do the same
Right.
thing too? Like,
Sure.
hey, Elon, I dare you. I dare you to do the Hitler sign.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'll find a place for it. I'll find a place for it. And he does it. And you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, they are
Right.
literally spitting in our faces,
Mm-hmm.
bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's
Yeah.
like, it's freaking me out. Like, but I believe in the side of good. And I believe Jake Barber. And I believe, like, all these things. Like, that's why I think UFOs is the way forward, bro. Because that's what religion has talked about, like equal unity and love and like all that. And it's like if NHI are real, and he's saying that NHI are guiding him in his actions. It's like, is he trying? Are they trying to set us on the correct course?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel within my like body that that's correct. Just like I
Yeah.
felt like, oh, Trump's gonna win. Like I felt the exact same intuition, which is like, there's no like he's gonna win, bro. Like you could feel the energy. So I think we're in the darkest before we hit the dawn, but we are in for a crazy show. It's been 1 week, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, is there anything you want to talk about? Any other final things?
No, I mean, outside of all that, Itchy Boots is still doing a good job with her
You know
stuff.
why? Because Itchy Boots is like, yo, I don't even care about this, bro. Like, I'm just gonna do my own thing, bro.
That's true. Yeah.
I think if you look at like life and like this weird game that we're playing, it's like you can do that Itchy Boots kind of thing. Because like, if people don't know who Itchy Boots is, like girl who like rides around the world in a motorcycle, and like you can, if you're not tethered by specific things, like you are free. She's free, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where's she now?
She's in Iraq, and well, I have to watch today's episode, but the one on Wednesday, she went to one of Saddam Hussein's palace.
Oh wow, oh she brave, eh? Saddam Hussein, let's just go. Yeah, that's so funny. You way to end it on some negativity. Saddam Hussein. Now I'm like Saddam Hussein, Trump. Oh my god, are they the same person? Oh my god, Hitler. Oh my god, it's the same person. I was like, there's just so much. Actually, last night I saw this episode of Yu Yu Hakusho, and we'll end it on this. This is the craziest thing, and I was like, this is so perfect synchronicity. So there's a guy that was good, right? There's a
Right.
good character,
Sure.
right? And then he became evil. And they're like, how'd you turn evil? And
Mm.
I saw the black tape. And then one of the demons, who was like, he's a demon that became good. He was like, oh my God, the famed black tape. And what that is it's 1,000 hours of just the horrors of humanity.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
when he saw that, he was like, oh, we need to be killed. Like that guy like
Yeah.
flipped.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Sure.
oh, humans need to be destroyed. And I was like, that's weird timing that like Yu Yu
Mm.
Hakusho was really trying to tell us, and then they cautioned him against that about how like there's still beauty in this world, and like that's how they're kind of like reframe the situation. That's why I think love will win out over this craziness. But like there is a lot of evil in this world. Like if like evil is a very hard thing to describe, like
Sure.
because like what
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Yeah.
evil? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there's certain things we agree on. Like that's kind of evil, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like Diddy's things, like if you really are human trafficking little children, it's evil, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no way we can like justify that.
Yeah.
So evil does exist. And this is the Bible, bro. We are like literally the angels and demons. They're just like,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just like the conduits of this battle. That's what Tom DeLonge has been saying, bro. That like they're good NHI and evil NHI, and we're battling like us. Like they like kind of inhabit us, and they play their game on us, and we are battling like on the human plane, but like they are playing this battle through us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that was kind of weird, but true because of the Jake Barber thing, and then you see Trump, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
Who's controlling Trump, bro?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So till next week, hopefully the world doesn't blow up, and we'll have more things to talk about. Hopefully Canada doesn't become the 51st state, and hopefully people just wake up. February 1st is next week.
Yes.
So we'll do this podcast on February 2nd, and Trump said February 1st is when he wants to do the 25% tariff. So
Right.
next week is going to be epic because like Canada's got to reply, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Final question for you. Do you think this will turn into a hot war of World War III? Everyone again, like, is it like World War II 2.0, where like everyone goes against America and we have this like crazy battle?
No.
War's not good. Yeah, I agree. I was like, war's not good for business, so like, I
That's
don't
not
think
good.
so. But like,
Yeah.
but we can have this ideological war, which is like the war of
That's
good and
probably
evil.
what's happening, yeah.
All right?
There is an ideology war, and it's between truth and fiction.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Yes. Yes. And is truth good? Depends on how much truth you're willing to accept, bro.
Hmm.
Because like sometimes something is so true that you're just like, for example, like if you're like you have cancer, to me, I'd be like, well, not me because I'm like a different person, but like if you tell a person like
Sure,
you have
sure.
cancer, you're like no way. They go through denial, right? The 5 stages of grief or whatever, and then till acceptance. But like sometimes too much truth is not a good thing. So like like when you're presented with the truth, because you're like truth or fiction, I'm like when you're presented with the truth, it's like, are you afraid or are you not afraid
Hmm.
of that truth?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
But I
and I
think,
think
as you were saying, wasn't it Jake Barber saying that truth
is the weapon
is
like
the.
of love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right. Till next week. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Take it easy, Vish.
Ease, peace. Or, yeah, take it easy.
Bye.
This crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bye.
yeah, it is crazy. Peace. All right, hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Vish.
Peace.